fucking faggot ass. I put some of the second channel. That's like the best blade member, bro. He just straight up drills and like drops the fucking funniest shit of all time. Poor guy. He is not doing well. Fucking Dawson's gambling. It's over.
Greatest lyricist ever. Let's analyze in 3 parts.
It's just fucking insane. This is more of a 3.
But there's also few people who are certain they've seen evidence, and as a result of them speaking to some other peoples, there's 3 other peoples who made sure they come up and talk to him. Alright, that banana was not quite right. Someone called me Corgi Plays, typed hi there. Hi there. I like corgis.
It's up to be, I don't care. Figure it out.
Corgis are actually really good at herding small animals. They're also very good nurse animals. Or can be. Although probably the best nursing dogs.
Figure it out. Hello? Dawson. Get off rain bed. Fuck off rain bed.
I'm gonna go the other direction.
Bro's gonna lose fucking all of his money.
Well, I guess it's probably not gonna do him with it. Fucking piece of shit. I don't know if it's a real neighbor or not. Looks like them, about the same height, about the same build. He looks to have a very better place over there. Like I said, they still have its 2 corners. Well, Nurse keeps making sure that I don't back as close to my vehicle as possible. That might be one of the other dealers, I don't know. I'm not getting close enough to ask.
Let's work it back up.
I
Figure
know
it
Jim
out.
come and talk to me again, but it seems to me that he's got a lot of pent up anger and rage that he's trying to stuff within his religious beliefs. I do apologize if I stutter or if I don't speak properly. I do need to catch my breath quite a bit. It hurts to walk, but I make sure I do so I don't get so stiff that I can't move. Obviously, I am outside right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go buy a banana that's really more ripe, I think. And making sure I take those natural entrance that's open, that I can go in there if need be. There's an awful lot of people who really like to make false accusations. And then you wonder why they end up getting treated the same way. Why would you do that to somebody to begin with? Why would you take advantage of someone? Why would you victimize someone? Even in myself and my predators, my predators always say, y'all not to listen to me. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Well, that's the first sign of a goddamn predator. I'm fighting with you listening to these people.
But we'll get
Absolutely fine with it.
every day.
What I'm not fine with is the fact that they only show one side and it's all bullshit. And most of it's slander that is unsubstantiated. But who cares, right? If somebody got a penis and they're homeless and you can call them mentally ill, then magically any and all crimes committed against them must not have been committed because you're a piece of shit in that particular case. I don't know what to say, so I'm not about protecting women and children. I'm also not going to stop protecting myself. My family deserves not to be abused, not to be taken advantage of, not to be assaulted, not to have their lives threatened repeatedly from people in Colorado or otherwise. These people didn't just bounce across jurisdictions whenever they wanted. They did it repeatedly. Well, the bright side, even though I live in my car, one of the ladies who works here at the Safeway gave me a super puffy blanket. I'm gonna wrap up in that and be
That's the whole fucking Three Musketeers.
Yes, ma'am.
Grateful about,
Bitch.
Absolutely. Now I'd be even more grateful if I had a Saint Bernard. They're so warm and cuddly. I wouldn't even need a blanket. Yes, ma'am. You see how inexpensive humanity is? That lady didn't stay. She didn't assault me. She didn't threaten me. She didn't throw nothing at me. You know what else? She didn't just walk by like a dress. I'm a terrorist. We didn't stop me and call them names. Being bullied. And just walking around without saying a word. I'm free to just walk on through without creating any problems. But you're going to say something pleasant. If you're going to engage in a positive human activity with me, I am all for that. If you're going to go slander my name in an attempt to get people to hurt me because you're an idiot, well, yeah, of course I'm going to have a problem with that. Of course I'm going to speak up about that. Gotta do something, don't we? We got two guys on this channel. Both claim as his customers. Both talking about getting their bread from their nets. Both make wrong. Oddly enough.
Get the fuck out. Figure it out.
You know what am I gonna do about it? No. I'm gonna mind my P's and fucking Q's. I'm gonna make sure I stay close to an area where, although I may not be entirely safe, it's safer than in my car, and certainly safer than walking any significant distance from somebody who might at least bear witness. Now, who all do I need to worry about? Chris Stafford.
How you doing?
I'm dealing with predators.
Alright.
Yeah, I got one guy here who assaulted me here over at the Safeway the first time. He assaulted me 7 times since. Broke my phone, kicked the crap out of the side of my car.
And the cops, you called the cops?
I can't. I tried calling the cops. You know what I ended up with? Charges for calling 911 too much. Yeah. Well, the cops could have let me know the day I walked into this town under no certain circumstances. They're not going to do their job. They'll send me to mental health, and mental health will send me back to the cops. They'll play that game for 6 months, and then they'll say, oh, you should have called 911. Well, excuse me, sir, you're assuming I did.
Yes. The cops are really bad in this fucking town.
They are.
Really bad.
Yeah, I've actually recorded a lot of the victims, them speaking about who those drugs went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And they're fucked up.
The money that's supposed to be used to help these drug addicts and to help these homeless is all being wasted on going to therapy 30 days away. When a crime's committed against you, you need help today. You don't need help 6 months down the road, or God forbid they want to push you to the housing thing. You won't get that for 2 years, if you're lucky. But they'll only push that every time you go in there, and you have to stop them and say, hey, I've been in your office 6 times. You filled out the paperwork for the homeless stuff 4 times. I don't know what you're going on. And the other thing is, there's all these programs for addicts, but what happens with people like me who don't do drugs? I mean, pot isn't considered a serious enough anything for them to put me in rehab for it. They literally laughed at me on the phone, the hospital in Salem. Laughed at me. But the other thing is, that's also just enough to bar me from a lot of the services that are for people who are already clean and sober. Then there's helping hands, pretending that they're only, if you're completely clean and sober, you can go out there. Meanwhile, they have people who've been out there for 3 months that I am aware of coming out here on the streets and doing drugs in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, really,
It's who's asking kids for what program to get into is what it's really about.
yes, and the more broke you are, the less they care. If you're a woman with children, they care a little bit more. But you have to be in housing already for them to care. Otherwise, they'll do what they can to try to take the kids.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
like,
if you make up a person and say, oh yeah, my ex-boyfriend, he beats me, they'll get you into a place real quick.
see, that's the problem. If only I were gay. But I'm not gay, I'm not straight, I'm not into men or women. So I never get to go anywhere for domestic assault.
Nope.
On the bright side, the one thing that I can be positive about is that the big Jared Scudder decided that he was going to help me when Tyler was being a little shithead and showing me a speech tree. I have that on my channel, and Tyler even said, I'm not going to ask you to take it down. I did it. I'll fess up to it. I did it. So, but he talks to me like a human being every time I see him, or he does the right thing, which is just continue watching, because a lot of times I'm busy doing something, you know, this is what I'm doing. But he looks over and he waves at me like this little microwave. Okay, I am here. I'm not ignoring you, and I'm also not showing you my backside or threatening you or anything like that this time.
I'm gonna be getting some little cameras because I have somebody that feels like they need to take my mail, and so I'm getting these really tiny cameras, and they're really cheap on Temu, and I'll give you one, and you can text people about me doing that, but I haven't got through.
I usually do it with my phone. I have a lot of proof. It's just a matter of somebody going in with me. Like, here's the thing with Tyler, that could have potentially turned into a really bad situation if I hadn't been checked immediately. Much like with Womez, he could have been checked immediately and he'd knock his stuff off. But the cops don't want to do that unless somebody else gets involved and says, hey, you know, this is bogus and this dude is doing harm and this does need to stop. And so Garrett, even though he knows Tyler,
Right.
he didn't want to make him
Only use me blade, only use me legs. I got holes in them. Yo, I'm like, man, I need another cage. The women keep calling me using tone tech. I'm a phone threat. I can send a mental threat on a plane.
She's a big
and have
kid
it show up at
and
your
a tiny
house
kid brain
and take you out of the game.
Yeah, he is big.
You out of your
He's
lane.
bigger than me by a lot.
He's big, but he's not
Hibiscus.
very bright.
I fucking carry arms
Well,
like shoulder
he's riding up
discs.
not to try assault
Bitch.
me. I mean, the
Oh.
last time, when they were doing that in the parking lot over there, I was afraid that it was going to come to assault. And I was glad that Tyler stepped off a little bit and talked his shit from a distance and then bore his backside. I was like, yep, see, at least he's giving me a fair opinion. He was just offended that I was parked in the parking lot. I literally just come out of the library. Man, what the hell is this about?
Yeah, this town is huge. It really is. I'm probably going to be moving.
Why they using
One lady
Don't
was in
tag.
Miriam, and whenever I find drug
Don't
that way,
beg.
she's the one that was working the
Open.
customer service. So I give all the
Press.
drugs that I found to her. And she gave me every indication that she was
Pass.
thinking about leaving this town in 2 days and never coming back, and then she left. And she's
Yeah.
not the only one. There's a lot of witnesses to the situation that I've been in that have said, dude, I'm leaving town. I can't be here. Do you remember Jaden that used to work down at the bank? He had a ponytail. He eventually married a woman who worked at the pizza place named Nola. But he was like, this town's really bad. So this is probably going to sound counterintuitive, but I'm leaving the orphans. We can't get the medical anything that we can here, and it's just too dangerous here. I'm like, you're saying it's too dangerous in Tacoma compared to Portland?
Yeah.
And then I looked statistically at the size of this town, and I looked at the number of deaths, the number of missing people, and yeah, per capita, we've got like 3 times the amount of crimes Portland.
And here,
It's all unsolved.
yeah. And what people do, it's like, people will just make up shit about you and start telling it to other people like it's fucking truth. Like, it's unreal. Like,
The two that are doing that, Warnez is doing that real heavy right now. Like, I've got a whole bunch of that recorded on my YouTube channel. But also, there's a lot of homeless people that are coming up to me and saying, hey, the cops said that you killed some girl in Colorado, the one that's the murder in Colorado, and a bunch of stuff like that. And like, you can look it up. I'm not wanted for jack shit. They want to pretend like I'm child molester, and that makes it okay to call me, pretend that I'm mistress. The youngins in this town screaming the N-word at me, throwing pumpkins at my vehicle, eggs at my vehicle. It's all recorded that I'm the victim, not them youngins. And some of them are as old as 23. They're doing it as a group, and there's both boys and girls involved. But you know what? I've never been charged.
Look
with
up
anything.
Rise Up Goyam on BitChute,
Any form of
and
sexual abuse,
specifically the multiracial
I've never
composition
been
of
charged
the
with any form of
S,
manslaughter,
2 S's.
anything of that nature. The thing is,
Yeah, man, they covered up a lot of
it's people
history.
running their mouth, making up shit, assuming shit, and
This
then going around
bro's
and telling
like
it to other people,
spent his
and they
life away
believe it,
like
like it's
Green
true.
Bed.
well, this all started with me rescuing
I swear to
the
God.
young woman in Virginia who was suicidal. She told me if I wasn't there already, or already on the road, she was going to kill herself. And we planned the trip together. When I got there, it turned out she was still hung out on heroin. But the other thing is, they gave her opiates because when she tried to kill herself, she wrapped her car around the telephone pole, and she had to get like
I read
13
Facebook,
screws
and it's
put
making
in her
me
leg,
really
a big
hurt.
titanium chunk, and that wasn't pretty. So she was fucking up on opiates the whole time that I was there. She wasn't in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
And then her family were the ones who were driving her to commit suicide. So she ended up getting shot in the head after I tried to get a protection order against her and her friends because they were drugged out and people were assaulting me. But the thing is, things they were assaulting me over are not things that Natalie ever said about me. I'm like, how can you assault me as if I'm some sort of a pedophile or rapist over somebody who I wasn't even friends with until she was an adult? And all of our conversations show that we were friends. And she says in our conversations that she was infatuated with me. She thought she was in love with me. I've had 4 women read the messages between me and Natalie Bollinger. Just sit down and read them. All 4 of them say the same thing. Sean, you're a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
Thought she was in love with you and you are just
Can you hear me? I don't even read Facebook, bro. Well, sometimes I get on there and just all my shit is like. Well, I had that account for a year, so it's like spiritual stuff. My feed's all like spiritual shit and like what's going on in my city. I'm just tired. Hello, Verisite is conducting a survey of women in Blair County. Why do I get these texts? So supposedly this number's like connected to some chick named fucking Kim or something.
I did drive 1,700 miles this year, and I drove 1,700 miles to get away from.
Get the fuck up, figure it out.
The fact that I literally never been charged with anything close to that is very important. The fact that I've never been busted with drugs.
I'm just stupid.
And the thing is, this woman that's
Stop. Get out.
things telling me that you'll see Colorado, push it up.
Get out.
Colorado when that was shot. I was 5 blocks from where she got shot.
What's going on Gay Book?
48 years for it. So I mean, people pretend that stuff.
Star.
People assault you.
So swiping right is
Running around spreading out.
like
They're only doing
saying no.
it in front of them. They know you break the law and don't bust it.
Oh damn, girl. Mommy of 3, bisexual, 420 friendly. Oh my god. This shit got her whole ass out. Oh damn, girl. Women only, please. No trans, please. Oh my god. Damn, she's fucking fine, bro. No.
She was killed in December of 2017, and I've been assaulted and went into the country.
An actual hot. She must be the woman in the relationship because she's hot.
Or law enforcement, because I don't have anything.
Brittany 411.
Pretended that they were friends and family, and they eventually they were gonna help me, but they were
That's a guy, bro.
drug salesmen. And these have been the only two to get rid of it,
Has kids. What?
other than
Looking for a female friend with benefit. What's with this, bro? Yeah, Dylan would like this. Big bitch. Be married bisexual women in an ENM marriage. Oh my god. This is a nice looking black woman. 5'7". Man, this looks like my ex. Get the fuck out. Figure it out. Sahara 48. Couple looking for a female third. God damn it. Doesn't have kids. 29. Damn. I do not have kids. I do not want children. I'm a pescatarian. Medical benefits and fruit ones. Yeah, like this nigga. Oh, he's actually real. He's gay, I think. God here. So, hi, please read carefully. This is couple page. So we are only looking for nasty freak women who want. Oh my god, bro. Bro, doing this made me realize, like, Society is cooked. Why is it giving me people in like Virginia and shit? Like, I sent my shit to like, damn, that can't be real. Hey, how you doing? Here's my page.
I'm glad I was wrong this time.
This is fake. This has to be fake. This has to be fake.
He's here, so I'm trying to make sure because I don't know anyone near him. I was looking to get people's words, and it's important to talk to people. Many things that are being said by these so-called crazies are being heckled.
Damn. Hey, you do. You say that's
Someone called themselves
you mean
Joel Carter's type of real you, and someone calling herself Trina Fontaneros, but a kitty cat in the back. That's my puppy. With that kitty.
check on this.
I was in the cats way before I was in the dog.
Figure it out.
It's funny because
Man, this can't be real. It's looking like
so they speak basic.
she wants her to send the money. I hate how it objectifies people. Like, seriously, I don't want to be scrolled over like some product on a shelf, and I don't want to perceive others like this. Yeah. I'm just looking like, yeah, that's what it is, bro. I'm just trying to find something serious. But it's like,
Communicate with my cats.
fucking, I don't know, man.
Basically, if I petted him in the right place, he'd feel all pretty and lovely, and you know, if we petted him.
But it's just like all bisexuals and shit. Even though, like, I put,
learn what's pleasant for you. And it
that
turns out the dogs have the same
clearly don't want that.
steps nothing right there to let him know that she loves him.
Or gays. Like, I don't want a sugar mama. I don't want to lead people on. This and that. Why'd you react with a cigarette? You're but sad.
If somebody tries messing with me, so I'm gonna go really cut my car for a bit.
If I don't have an upper hand in a possible yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to be. Well, actually, I kind of want to be dominated. Except.
During the day,
This is weird.
I'll go on that side. The best way on is to go to the space. They got to know me first. And then I tell them I'm supposed to park
Hey,
right
girl.
the entrance over there that's closer to the building.
Ugh. I don't need some hipster feminist bitch
It's all on
telling me stuff.
pulling them out and
Yeah, like, I kind of like domination, sort of. Sort of. Like, not really. Like, but I'd be down to, like, try some fucking freak shit.
He was the biggest hit.
Like this bitch look like she gonna whip my ass. It'll be holding no convo with your aggressive ass. Yeah, don't like me if you gonna one word me. Fuck out of here. No, man, I have one. Read. Cooked. Society is cooked, bro. Oh my god. Oh man, yeah, you're right, man. Being on Facebook is like really hurting my head right now.
Calling yourself free.
I'm gonna get on like Reddit or something.
People, first they take a screenshot.
I just like sometimes scrolling Reddit
And that
for some just like random shit. It's funny shit.
We're on this channel, that's right.
Then 4chan for like schizo theories.
Wouldn't it be nice
Charlie
if we
Kirk's
were
message to Candace Owens. Anyway, I'm not sure I will live to see.
These are on this channel.
Whatever.
This person wants to rape me. Well, let's hide
Candace Owens is. It's like the right wing grifterist, bro. It's like you just sit.
who's on this channel.
Right wing grifters like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. They'll be like Candace Owens is like, I'm gonna release. They'll be like, they're gonna release the proof of something, but it's always like in 2 more days, in 2 more weeks. Like, dude, if you had something, you'd fucking release it. Like, you ain't Carl, you ain't, or what is his name? Fucking Julian Assange. Like, bro just dropped the shit. Like, with no fucking warning. Yeah. What does my feed look like? Right. My Reddit feed is like
A lot of people have this
conspiracy,
wonderful idea and
Peter explain this, primal diet, fucking raw primal,
to shut me up.
interdimensional, NHIs, mushrooms, raw primal, semen retention, spine proof. Whoa, look at this shit.
All these people who want to
Whoa, the sperm cell and the spine. Whoa, what the fuck? This is crazy.
if I actually do so.
Look at this symbolism.
There are hundreds of people who've been involved in it,
Semen retention and spine health.
more than just hundreds.
And it has a picture of a sperm cell next to his, the spine. And the snake also, like the snake spine, 33 vertebrae in the spine aligned. When I grind. Well, we don't know about that.
Speak up because someone has to.
Elder Scrolls Online, Conspiracy,
Realize that
Consume,
it's important
True STL,
for all the victims.
Conspiracy, Raw Primal, PC, Master Race,
Regardless of age,
High Strangeness,
all of the victims.
Somebody's Schizo Notebook,
Nobody should be denied
Sentient
that right.
World Simulation.
Nobody.
It's pretty cool.
Warren has decided that he was going to play judge, jury, and
It's pretty
executioner.
cool.
And he decided to put his nasty computers on me. And on my things, on my belongings, on my evidence. He's not the first person to try to destroy phone 4 evidence. And he's not likely going to be the last. But he has tried it repeatedly. Whatever it takes to hide the evidence that is wrong to him, right? Too late.
Finish up your beer, I don't care. Impotent Rage. It's like that. It's like GTA 4, the TV show Impotent Rage.
To harm an at-risk adult. He knowingly, willingly, and intentionally
chose to lie.
Word, bro.
He knowingly, willingly, and intentionally chose to try to destroy evidence, to try to enlist others to harm me through slander, and has kept it up. Now, he believes that he should be allowed to call people whatever he wants, and he should be allowed to physically assault whoever he wants. But he believes that there should be no consequences. And so far, the consequences he has to worry about have just been my voice and my recordings. What's he afraid of? Well, he's afraid he's going to prison. This isn't jail stuff, this is prison. I'm a disabled adult. This is prison that he's looking at. There's also the repeat offender thing. He's assaulted me 7 times on tape, as well as attempting to break my phone and nearly every recording, as well as physically trying to destroy my vehicle. So what did I do? I recorded him beating on my vehicle, recorded him assaulting me. Now why am I just rambling on this channel right now? Because this is mostly just for my safety in case he tries something. Again, predators do not like it when you speak up. It doesn't matter if it's Natalie Bollinger, Alicia Bollinger, or even Andrew Gomez. I still speak up. It's my right to speak up. And it is in
Look at this shit.
to retaliate
I was posted on Facebook.
for speaking up. The whole old poor you scenario.
Might as well get the fuck out. Figure it out.
Alright, I'm gonna turn the mute thing on because I know that the moment I turn on the engine here, it's gonna start fucking beeping and it gets annoying. I'll have it right back on in just a minute.
Here's my Facebook. Someone stole my power washer off Miller Ave. Someone stole my power washer off my front porch on Miller Ave over the weekend. Where the fuck was this at? It's somewhere in here in PA. Offering strangers free goy slop.
Hey, excuse me? Would you trade a goy slop Jew bag for a cookie? Slop Jew bag for a cookie? What? It's a free goy slop Jew bag. Do you want to trade one for a cookie? Are you sure? What is that? It's a cigarette and a shooter. It's goy slop. No.
Can I take it for free?
Sure, of course. But can we trade for a cookie? No. Damn, okay. See, it's goy slop. Thank you. Have a good one.
You are not suing your employer.
Shooter. Florida Jit. The dude's fucking funny. These hills might be silent, but you know I got that loud. That shit's like funny shit. Technology. People stealing shit off porches.
Alright, so, we're
No, it's me. It's not RFK Jr. No, it's me. It's not RFK Jr. I stole Doinkle's phone, and I don't think I'm gonna give it.
Somebody actually messaged me like they give a shit. That fucking rocks. That totally fucking rocks. Let's see what the message says. Have a good night, Sean. Keep warm. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's supposed to be cold in the cast back Canadian shady side of an iceberg. He messaged me at 8:01 and I typed back to him at 9:02. An hour and 1 minute. There's a lot of these people that are witnesses to crimes in this town. They would fucking love to come forward. They need a safe way to do so. And my channel is absolutely not it. Going in person and recording it that way. And what should have been at the start. And it's still a possibility. For the 3 women who were sexually assaulted by Officer Lothman. You know, I hope you come forward. I understand if you don't want to and if you feel unsafe. I know there was 2 of you, all he did was sexually harass you, and that you're already on my YouTube channel. The problem that I have is that all I have is the recording of you, and I have no place to go through digging through hundreds of videos to try to find that one particular video because it was so long ago. If I'd had help at that particular point in time to turn it in right then and there, then it wouldn't be this big of an issue. Ashley, if you get harassed by somebody about and talking about you, a lot of the stuff that you have to say, especially from what Scott said, Officer Mike Reeves, I'm totally down with you to turn him in.
Yeah, look at these comments.
I don't care about your past. I don't even care about the fucking shit you did to me. But you also have the right. And people in the sheriff's department and police department are much bigger. I'm just scary as fuck because I speak out. Even after ass whooping, after ass whooping. Getting slammed, getting beaten, getting kicked, getting egged, getting pumpkined, having to go through anti-LGBT crap, a bunch of anti-black folk crap that people want to throw at me. You know, they call me the N-word in this town. You know, that's not much different from what they called me in Chapel, Nebraska. In Chapel, Nebraska, they called me N-word lover. Here, they just dropped the word at the end. Then there's the anti-Semitic stuff. The Nazi BS.
But I am following instructions. During the day, I'll do that white man shield. During the day, when I have both doors open, or both sets of doors open, this is actually a better place to park. But everybody comes out of the other door when they have their breaks and all that stuff at night. But, it's safer to be able to buy the other door. I don't expect anything during this. Well, Gordon already said they were gonna turn in Gomez. Well, I mean, what kind of hell? I was already putting my names to take cool. One of the people, one of the Johns, was down here the other day, yelling at me that he was a witness. Well, I'm not your witness, that's the point. Back home somewhere. I'm not the world's greatest guy. And I'm gonna exactly have the ability to see all that 5 plays. As to whether or not it's not for anything. It's for fucking evidence. I know there's a lot of stuff that people are offended by. What are you offended by compared to what I'm offended by?
You guys Goyim?
No.
Alright, well, these are Jew bags. Listen. You're Jewish? No, you're not. You're Goyim. Look, it's a Jew bag. It's a Goy slab. Look, there's a cigarette shooter, a whole bunch of fun things. Here, take this.
My friends and family are having their lives threatened. That is really serious. It's something to give a shit about. And I do. I take that very seriously. Take allegations of sexual assault and physical assault very seriously, especially against at-risk adults, such as the disabled or the homeless. And yet, both are classified as at-risk adults in this country. It happens. Well, I gotta get something to wipe off my windshield here. I've got a lady who's coming in on Monday to help me. I won't see her tomorrow, I don't believe. We'll see. Situation with Juanez is scary. I know enough about her situation and her family situation to know that they are at least safe and secure. Something I cannot say for myself.
Safety first, Sean.
Backlash. But there's enough people here who know me, and enough people who've started looking at evidence that at least they can tell the parts that they've seen, and that helps me today. Someone calling themselves Cat Face Enthusiast. How are you doing tonight, buddy? I'm still alive, I guess.
Don't let that 0.5 name jump fool you. Our newest music model, the 5.5, is the best model on the planet. Full stop. It's the biggest leap in quality we've had from any model we've ever shipped. It's not only the best, it's the best by the largest amount. But who cares? What matters is V5.5 is the best sounding, most nuanced, and most musically expressive tool in the world of music making. We feel pretty confident about that. We also fully overhauled Personas. It's now called Voices, and you guessed it, our most requested feature is now yours. Capture and upload your voice into
But I
Suno and
get
hear
this
yourself
very,
on
very
any track.
common
With
theme
V5.5,
of,
we
so
wanted
I
to make
don't know what I can do. Too many people territory towards me in this town. Talk to me like I'm a person, or at least leave me alone. So one of those people, it took him getting off of drugs and getting some help for schizophrenia. That's a scary thing. And the other one, it just required for him to come down from the drugs that he was on at the time. Told the park. And I'm gonna go inside and follow instructions as far as that goes. Someone calling themselves Cobra Kai type high. Hello. Cobra Kai is a name right out of the 80s. Daniel-san. Most way punched, no beat out. Could you show me how to sweep? Mr. Miyagi come out with a broom. Cobra Kai typed. Someone calling themselves Set Me L. Type this happening, are you in danger? Of course I'm in danger, and Set Me isn't a bad firearm. I don't know about the Set Me L, but it's not bad. That's not what I'd choose. I'm also not a fan of the FAL, although it is based primarily off of the AR-18, which is the knockoff version from of the AR-M16 platform. It was made so that you could manufacture a similar platform in 5.56 NATO in a third world country. Yes, I'm in danger at all points in time. I'm involved and I have a YouTube channel that's full of violence against myself and others. It's horrible out here. Cobra Kai type, yeah, I love that movie. I saw that part, what happened, why are you in danger, I subbed. I'm in danger because a friend of mine was shot in 2017 after pretending that I spotted you. A lot of her baby friends decided that that was a good enough reason to start them repeatedly and spread their own rumors. It sucks. As male in the United States, we're all subject to the possibility of false allegations. The problem is, when you go spreading rumors about somebody, you should probably make sure that the person that you're spreading the rumors about is okay with it. I don't think that Natalie Bollinger would have been okay with Maddie Boa running around and pretending like I was a pedophile. I don't think Natalie Bollinger would have been okay with Maddie Boa running around and people that I raped or molested anyone in Virginia. Maddie Boa did that because she felt like it was an okay thing to do because girls shouldn't be held accountable. And that's just stupid. Gotta get Natalie Bollinger killed. Now, did she cite me as her reason for committing suicide? No. She cited her parents and her ex-boyfriend. Sorry, her parents and her boyfriend. Me and Natalie Bollinger never dated.
That wasn't from her lack of effort. It was from my lack of interest. Thank goodness that's what the evidence shows. It's just a matter of getting someone to help me share it. I've sent it out to so many people, posted up on my Facebook, on my YouTube, and people don't look. The majority of people who get on my channel just get on here to troll me, to harass me, to bully me. Let's look something up real quick. This is for all of our benefit. And for the literally hundreds upon hundreds of people who tried to bully me into committing suicide. What are you charged with if you bully somebody to suicide?
According to JS Defense, in some cases, the bully may never intend to cause death, though they act in a manner that is dangerous enough to kill someone. In this case, involuntary manslaughter charges may result.
Now that's if they didn't intend death. But these people are literally doing everything that they can to try to push me to commit suicide, to bully me and harass me incessantly. And they hate that I speak up. They hate it more that I will get on here and scream and shout and curse and expose their pictures, expose their names, expose their charges, as I did in the video just prior to this. I do that a lot.
You're disqualified.
And everyone knows at the end of the last video when they start typing at me, being a bully, after physically assaulting me on no less than 7 separate occasions, and physically assaulting my property on at least 7, following me through town to assault me. This is how sick and fucked up this guy is in my head. And a lot of people have done this.
But don't worry about it. Does God tell the truth?
Set me out type, you should try to get a hold of Music Biz. Marty, he can help you.
We can edit.
And then the guy calling himself Cobra Kai type, do you know what I do? I don't know what either one of you do. Oh, scratch the lice out. Just kidding, it's not lice. It's just uncleanliness. I should probably go down to the YMCA and take a shower again. I went very many months without taking a shower because I was afraid of being bullied or harassed. And this does happen everywhere I go. What is the charge for bullying someone to death?
According to JS Defense, in some cases, the bully may never intend to cause death.
They're doing the same one. Alright, what happens if you bully someone to death?
According to JS Defense, first, if a bully physically kills someone, they may be charged with different degrees of homicide charges depending on the circumstances. In some cases, the bully may never intend to cause death, though they act in a manner that is dangerous enough to kill someone.
And in which case, they can be charged with involuntary manslaughter. There's also actual manslaughter charges. What happens if a police officer bullies someone to death? The Cyber Smile Foundation, who to call, use our list of helplines for problems such as cyberbullying, revenge porn, mental health, and suicide prevention. That one might be interesting. Cobra Kai typed karate. I do karate.
3 signs you're more attractive than you think.
Oh, I took karate. and Taekwondo, and Dukes Ryu Ninjutsu. Oh, this isn't the goddamn UK. Oh, not just the UK. Oh, we've already called this one. They said that we have to get somebody to help us doing this online. Alright. Well, that one's kind of out of the question at the moment, but we'll find out on Monday. Let's see. Stop Bullying Now Hotline, USA. Helpline set up by U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Alright, I finally got that goddamn scab pulled out of my hair. I have some paper clips here. One night I had it down like this because it was holding some of my blankets up as a makeshift curtain, I guess. Privacy blind. Anyway, I moved my head underneath it. It was moving pretty quick and I fucking gouged myself. That was about a week ago. Let's see. Kids Helpline Australia, NSPCC Helpline UK, Young Minds UK, Kids Help Phone Canada, Mental Health Pipelines, or Helplines, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That one's shit. They will push you to commit suicide, no joke. Samaritans UK, Suicide National Helpline. They will push you to suicide too. Good luck. That's in the USA. Lifeline AUS, that's Australia. Anxiety UK in the UK. Mind Information Line UK. International Bipolar Foundation, Spain and USA. Eating disorders and negative body image helplines. Revenge porn helplines. There's only one, and it's in the UK. LGBTQ plus helplines, the Trevor Project. They only care if you're LGBTQ, and you might not be considered LGBTQ by the person that you talk to, just so you know. Addiction helplines, stuff for parents. Advice for parents dealing with a cyberbullying incident, how to guard against your child becoming a cyberbully, how to help your child avoid being cyberbullied. Is my child a cyberbully? Is my child being cyberbullied? Online advice, top tips to give your children, who to call, who to speak to. Well, it seems to me there's a lot written there. That doesn't mean there's a lot there.
Let's read what's on here.
Oh, you guys want to see the Set Me L? You should check it out. It's actually pretty cool. Someone calling themselves Unknown 737 typed one here, Christmas joke. Cobra Kai type nice. Unknown 737 type wire, teddy bear's always full. Cobra Kai made a bunch of faces, and Unknown 737 type because they are always stuffed. Let's see. The Set Me L in black, using the Cerakote E-Series, the best firearms coating available. $1,349. Damn, that's... The Model L is a Spanish 5.56 by 45 millimeter NATO assault rifle developed in the late 1970s. It's a state-owned small arms research and development establishment SETME located in Madrid. The rifle retains many of the proven design elements the Institute had used previously in its SETME Model 58 battle rifles. SETME L AR-18 Influence. Well, it says primarily German Gewehr and the French made AME 49. Although the SETME fandom shows the AR-18 and then the IMI AR and then the SACO RK95 TP. These are some of the ones that are, I guess that's talking ammunition stoppages. Let's see. AR-18 derivatives. Not AR-18 Derby. What the fuck? AR-18 influenced rifles.
According to Wikipedia, the Arkansas 18 mechanism is the basis for many rifles in major military service. Rifles which use a copy or derivative of the Arkansas 18 gas system include HKG-36, HK-416, FNF-2000, FN SCAR, Steyr August, CZ-805BREN, Chinese QBZ-95, Daewoo K1, Hoa Type 89, SAR-88, T-91 and British SA-80 family of weapon systems.
Arkansas 18, they say. Well, Google ain't that well educated, is it? Let's see, SETME L type. I got a green one with a Picatinny rail on top. Nice. Very nice. What's your MOA? You got the military standard. What's the request? What kind of ammo are you using?
I just made this picture of that.
Are you using match straight or are you using nail stun? Well, you know you can shoot a 223 out of that. You know, 223.
I made this picture of a blinker. If I send her a rose, will unlock.
Well, you're gonna need a different optic if you're doing that in order to get the same accuracy, but. I was forced to make an illegal AR-15 in Nebraska by one of Sheriff Scott DeCosta's friends. I've been trying to turn in that rifle for 3 years now. Fuck, it's been a while. Let's see, SETME L type of alright, so you're still probably rifle was made for the 5.56 and not the 223, but I recommend looking it up. M855 ball. Oh, you're going with standard military. It was very nice. I guess there's an M855 match grade too. Ball ammunition, that's pretty standard. They do have a couple of SETMEs that are actually set up in 308 Lakua now, and they got, or no, 308, and then they've also got the Lakua.
Yo, I was choking to death, bro.
There's one more. I'm trying to remember. I don't think they have a version in 30-06 though. I'm actually kind of a big fan of the South Korean ammunition. I was genuinely surprised by the fact that it performs so well. It performs exactly the same as our ammunition. I thought I had ammunition from South Korea that was I figured it'd be substandard, especially since the ammunition I got was old as hell. But no, it fired the same as the American-made rounds. I was firing match-grade American rounds, so. The only real difference between match-grade military ball and military ball ammunition is that if there's just a tiny, tiny bit of grain more in the bullet shell than in another, it's going to be caught by the measurement system. Whereas in the military ammunition, it's just approximately about, it's got looser tolerances just for the order of mass production. Actually, let's look up the M855 ball. M855 ball ammunition.
According to blog.grittersports.com, all in all, the M855 did not perform as desired, and it has been phased out of military service and replaced by its counterpart M855A1 ammunition. M855A1 has problems of its own, but it is classified as armor-piercing since its core is no longer made of lead.
Yeah. Green tips. Catface Enthusiast said he got a Bulgarian SLR 106. I gotta look that up. I like for a speed. That's a badass rifle right there. Between an AK-47 and the Rashid, I'd go the Rashid route all the way. SLR 106. Maximum range 1,350 meters or 1,408 yards. Muzzle velocity 2,985 feet per second, 910 meters per second. Rate of fire 40 rounds per minute. Practical. Rear sight range 500 meters, 547 yards. Let's take a look at it. It looks like a AK-47 or whatever. And it looks like it fires 5.45 by 45 millimeter, or 5.56 by 45 millimeter semi-automatic, so it's a semi-auto. 4 grand for that, holy hell. Yeah, I'm more of a fan of the 22 Cricket.
Just like
I've ever made. 22 Cricket, you can get some pretty good accuracy out to about 50 yards, believe it or not. Of course, it's a stable platform. It's a bolt action. It's also got a very crisp trigger, so you know right when you're at the brake. I actually used to have a 22 Browning Best pistol for a while. I think I was 21 when I got it, and I was 22 when I was 23. I got rid of all of my guns in 2003 when I became homeless. Most of them went to, let's see, Dennis Dickinson got my 303 Enfield. Big Jason Jetson ended up with my SKS and my stock. Let's see, Catface Enthusiast typed, I bought it for $800. So it was probably 6 years ago, 8 years ago. I'm just saying that
You
based
could probably
on
make it
what
better
the
on
prices would have been
did it
around
go
that
quick
time
on
for something that's going for $4,000 now. I've seen AK-47s, Yugoslavian AKs, or no, Romanian AKs. You could buy one for about $400, $496 at Cabela's, with all of the bells and whistles. It came with the sling, it came with the, the whole cleaning kit. Came with the whole shebang. It did have a chrome line barrel, which I did not know. I thought that it did not have a chrome line barrel, but apparently when they imported them into the United States, they did chrome line a few of them. I had a roommate named Chris Stegeman that I bought an AK-47 for, and I had the SKS. I had the Yugoslavian SKS with the folding bayonet, and it cost me $195. And then it cost me, I think, about equal that for the Monte Carlo stock. Let's see, Catface Enthusiast typed, I think, about 4 years ago. Holy hell. Yep, firearms are getting expensive. On the bright side, since you've already got the firearm, all you've got to worry about is ammunition and practice. You have to get the practice. Leading an untrained person to war, well, that's just a suicide. A lot of people buy a gun as a novelty. They think, in case I need it, in case I want it, in case something happens, but just for peace of mind. However, it also has its own fears that comes around with having that gun, especially when you're homeless. When I'm homeless, I know, just as every other homeless man knows, that your life is expendable and no one will care. As a result, you try not to have any excuse. Not an excuse for you, but an excuse for others to shoot you. I don't carry knives, I don't carry guns. I don't like violence. But I do wholeheartedly support the Second Amendment. Do you know why I support the Second Amendment? Because that is in support of the First Amendment. I am fighting for the First Amendment, and I am surprised as hell that there are so many Second Amendmenters out there that are not fighting for that First Amendment. All we hear out of them, for the most part, is, "My cold dead hands." Oh, well, I'll be a damn dirty ape. People have been using that Charlton Heston quote for years. Yes, I fully support the Second Amendment. I'm just not fully in support of those who are exercising the Second Amendment. Because they're not using it properly. The Second Amendment is for when the First Amendment fails, such as in my situation. The Second Amendment is not a hunting law. Samuel typed, I got a Chinese M21 SKS. That's the one designed after the M56, not the Type 49. Is it? I'm gonna have to look that up now. It's not Type 49 because the SKS was in use partially at the very end of World War II. The Type 56 though, the Type 56 SKS is the one that we see in modern times. This is the one that's based off of Simonov's design. are based off of Mikhail Kalashnikov's design. The modern SKS has more Avtomat Kalashnikov in it than Simonov. And that's because the gas operating system on the SKS, the locking system, oh hell. You're the munch. Anyway, I got this channel here, not for any of your entertainment, but to show evidence and to show the truth. Because the cops wouldn't fucking look. Neither would my friends. I gave Alexander my last cigarette, so I'm out. Back just putting tobacco off with an aluminum pipe. I lost my tobacco pipe somewhere in this goddamn vehicle. Of course, you guys can hear what it sounds like when I hit off of that. Fuck. Set this up here. Let it charge up a little bit. Ooh, I found a tobacco. It's the wet one from earlier, so it'll probably taste like boiled asshole, but whatever, it's a cigarette. The Sitmiel, it's not great, but it's not horrible. Although I'm partial to the AK platform, I do like the Galil. I like the Rashid. The Rashid's a good firearm, real good firearm, especially given the area that it's designed for. Ew. Yeah. That's gross.
Pee.
See how much charge we have on my phone because I don't want it to die while I'm inside. 7%. Alright, we'll try to get it up to about 15% before the dawn. I'm gonna turn off all my lights so that I'm not using as much electricity. And we'll go to my telephone. Check out the channel 21 SKS, but pretty much other than Russia, nobody actually made a copy of the Simonov. They made copies of the modified SKS from later variants that are based on the AK-47 or Avtomat, designed by Mikhail Kalashnikov in the 1940s. AK-47 stands for Avtomat Kalashnikov, model year 47. Pretty easy. The SKS model 56 is based on the AK-47. They both entered service, well, had the possibility of entering service around the same time. But the Kalashnikov had pointed out were not problems, but the Russians at the time felt that the stamped sheet metal receivers were not feasible with the stamping sets that they had in the day, or their understanding of the metallurgy to do so. But Mikhail Kalashnikov was right. They stopped making the milled receivers eventually and made the AKM, which is modern. As far as runways goes, I think that's what we've got them.
Nice.
But I'll go inside. I'm gonna get myself a soda pop or something, I don't know. They do have 50-cent soda pops here. There's also a little plastic dealie. I was gonna show it to you. I figured I'd teach you ladies how to keep roofies out of your beers. It's a lot easier to slip a roofie into a canned beer that you can't see through than it is a cup beer, where you notice there's something fucked up on the bottom of your cup. So there's you know, the round balls that you buy from the quarter machines at the grocery store, and half is some fancy color and the other half is quasi see-through. These,
You're disqualified.
the quasi see-through half, you take your soda pop or your Monster Energy drink, you put it on top. Watch this. That's right, it's on there good. Also, there's a tiny bit of liquid in here, so we'll show you. See, there's a tiny bit of liquid in there. If I turn it back over, it doesn't spill any. And because the opening is in the cup, or in the can, it all goes right back down inside of it. If you're allergic to bees, just snap the lid back on there. When you're done taking a drink, you're less likely to get smacked by a bee, stung by a bee, bit by a bee, however you want to say it. Some people are weird about the way they say it. I don't like the word stung. Okay, we won't use that word. Anyway, I'm sorry that the phone died, but it happens. That's one of the issues with all my gas, is I gotta use it up to try to keep my phone charged, just in case of more assaults by Womass. Or 9% battery. That's better than nothing, I guess. I do, in fact, and indeed have to worry about predators like Andrew Gomez. And that's because of their history of violence and abuse towards me. And threats and harassment. But I suppose, compared to actual assaults, the threats and harassment don't really seem like much. Device pulse has been updated, it says. should be able to charge it for later. As soon as it starts beeping, it basically lets me know that I can still start my car as long as I turn off my car quickly. I think I could probably go in and chill for a bit and get something to drink, I guess. On 9% battery. Mostly I'm just recording right now because of safety issues with Walnez. He's a violent POS. I definitely need to go in and get some napkins, so I think I'm actually going to go do that. 10% battery. Alright, I'll call that good. On the bright side, at least I speak up.
Night, Alex.
Pretty good. Well, maybe not pretty good, but we can talk to him first. But I'm not pretty, so it's much appreciated.
Oh, sure, you're pretty.
Everybody but Jay makes me feel like a princess. One of these days I'm giving him a smile.
Yeah, right. I haven't seen him smile yet.
Oh, I'm gonna see if I have enough. Yes, ma'am. Just mean, whatever. Maybe Cole C is here to join the conversation about the SKS and the Setniel. Maybe not. Anyway, like I was saying before, you see that little globe on the top? Go to your local grocery store. You find yourself a ring or a gooey thing or whatever the prize happens to be that comes in the bubble. You're not after the prize inside of the bubble. Matter of fact, you're not even after the bubble. You're only after the top half of the bubble. It'll snap right on. just purchased myself a. God, did I forget to bring it out? No, there's no way. No. No, that one's empty.
Get on the guitar.
I know I put it somewhere. That Xbox is empty. Ah, here it is. Monster Java. Now what are we gonna do? We're gonna plug in my telephone. Oh shit. I forgot to get napkins. Oh well. There we go. Using up the last of my gas. I was able to finally make a GoFundMe and get a card working. I didn't do it though. I had help from one of the employees here at the Safeway. And he's hopefully going to help me on Monday to finish the rest of it. It is starting to get chilly out.
Oh no, that's
I probably
too
should
close to moisture.
open up one of these super
You
walls.
have to put it in front of this window.
Just put it in the middle.
They
Yeah,
have the ones
put it in the
for
middle.
feet, they fucking stop.
Okay, shorts go. Wait, yeah, there.
And the lady who gives them to me, she said, you know, I love them. I usually
These
put
are
one on my
your
feet and one on my back.
muscle
And by the
shorts.
time I wake up in the morning, they're both on my feet. Like, yo, put them in my sleeping bag. My question is, what bother giving people disability money if you're just gonna let people cheat them out of it? That's one of the things that sucks the most.
Here, right, yeah, here, I'll do all that.
Like the government
No, there's
give
nowhere
you
to put it.
$800 a month for disability, but then they'll press false charges on you that cost you tens of thousands of dollars, and you can't even hire a lawyer with that money. Because they give you a little increment at a time, and then they nickel and fucking dime every bit of it out of you.
Oh, what happened?
It's always been like that.
Without representation, might I add.
I'm probably
We
gonna
do
pass
not
out.
live in a democracy.
Here's your tea.
Tired all the time.
So what do we live in? Does anyone know? It's supposed to be a democratic republic, but as we've seen with nearly every
Pants,
election,
yeah.
it's not about being a democratic republic. It's about keeping the American people arguing over a super close
And that
election
peanut butter wrapper.
and arguing over who's legally the
Here,
president.
I got a
Who's
trash
legally our figurehead carrying the Estados Unidos.
Thank you. I did. Thing.
That seems to be the most important thing to a lot of people running for election year. Alright, I'll make sure we don't bury that. I haven't actually been able to bring myself to use it, but I got it.
What is wrong with this stuff?
And I got both Bear Mace as well as a taser, but shit. Haven't been able to bring myself to zap anybody yet. What happens if I go to the cops alone to try to turn in any crime? I get bullied. And the cops, they try to run around and slander my name as if that's going to stop me from telling the truth about it. Then they press false charges on me and fucking arrest me. Now they did partially not arresting me on that bogus bullshit, just partially because I was very not nice with the 911 operator who was engaged in illegal activities.
That shit weird, bro.
But they work closely with the law enforcement, and of course we get to hear the lady on the 911 call saying that she's not associated with the officers. But then Officer Lothman, what happened with him and Harold? Harold turned off my phone without my permission. A bunch of dumb son of bitches. And that's when Officer Tony Lothman decided that it was alright to mouth off. And what did he claim? He claimed that they were his 911 operators. That's right, he claimed those women as his personal property, which is something to be expected out of Tony Lothman. What a dumb son of a bitch. I believe in doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Although I don't always know the right thing to do, at least I fucking try. The police doing their jobs could have saved Natalie Bonger's life, but they didn't want to do their jobs. They wanted to play judge, jury, and executioner and prevent the actual victim from having a day in court. And then they wanted to play after the fact like they'd done nothing wrong. For me, I haven't done anything wrong. I've done things that are necessary given the information that I had to have. How do women get us to make stupid decisions because they don't want to do something themselves? They pretend it's an emergency. Or they will create a scenario in which it is to be assumed to be an emergency. That's our job, son. But you know what? We do. We protect you from your own stupidity all the fucking time. Every time you get fucking drunk and try to get your boyfriend into a fight or your husband into a fight, some fucking dumbass to defend your goddamn honor, but you have none. I believe in loyalty above all else, except honor. And that's where my family and I do not get along or see eye to eye. My family are the every man for himself type, but then they're not every man out for himself. My mom protected 2 men in my family that are child molesters. Her father and my brother Michael. fucked up. She died last month. Fuck, junk. Sorry, there's a person who just rode by on a bike. Not everybody on a bike is a junkie, but that guy is. And I'm not saying that just because he's on a bike, it's because I know the guy. I just don't know his name. I'm not going to say it's right.
The Bible says, if any man have not the Spirit of Christ, he is none of his.
It's not on himself.
You might answer your prayer, but you're just sorry. But don't worry about it.
Hell, it don't matter. It's not giving you any problems. I'll come to smash you one of them.
So,
The first book of the Maccabees. Chapter 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chetam, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then died. And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen, and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and took the spoils thereof. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold, and the precious vessels, Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and spoken very proudly. Therefore there was a great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned. The virgins and the young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them. But all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire, and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children took they captive, and possessed the cattle. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. They stored it also with armor and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there. And so they became a sore snare. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary, and defiled it, insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and every one should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law, and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said, he should die. In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice, city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law. And so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Now, the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. Thus did they, by their authority, unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Now, the 25th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that would cause their children to be circumcised. And they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore, the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. And there was very great wrath upon Israel. Chapter 2. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, the priest of the south of Jordan, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, Johanan, called Cabbage, Simon, called Cassie, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar, called Adoram, and Jonathan, whose surname was Abbott. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, Woe's me! Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers? Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom, and gotten of her spoils? All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman she is become a bondslave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias and his sons rent their clothes, and put on sackcloth, and mourned very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city of Modin to make them sacrifice. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, Thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done, yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold, and many rewards. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled, neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salome. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, Whosoever is zealous of the law, and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. Then many who sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. Now when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness, they pursued after them with a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them, and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, Let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth, and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. But they said, We will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. So then they gave them the battle with all speed. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said, Let us die in our innocency. Heaven and earth will testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them, with their wives, their children, and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 people. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore. And one of them said to another, If we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. At that time therefore they decreed, saying, Whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him, neither will we die all as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntary devoted unto the Lord. Also all that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were a stay unto them. So they joined their forces, and smote sinful men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath. But the rest fled to the heathen for succor. Then Mattathias and his friends went round about, and pulled down the altars, and what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly. They pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their hand. So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles, and out of the hand of kings, neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. Now, when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, Now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction, and the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment, and was made Lord of Egypt. Phinehas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up to heaven. Ananias, Azarias, and Misael, by believing, was saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome. Fear not the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be done.
KGV only.
Today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Wherefore, ye my sons,
but they fell as their gods
were
were fake.
yourselves men in the behalf of the law. For by
What makes it unique?
shall ye obtain glory.
To me, the Book of Job saved my soul when I read the KJV, because I was an occultist for many years, and I practiced witchcraft and you know, divination and all that. It's unique as like Christ was God in the flesh. He was God. Now there's Trinitarianism, which I don't believe that. I believe that Christ was God in the flesh. I don't believe in Trinitarianism.
So he blessed them.
It's unique
and was
to me because it's perfection. The way that the Bible was written, specifically the KJV, there's too many. For example, there's so much uniqueness about it. Sin in the KJV 16:11 is mentioned 47 times, and the word blood is mentioned 47 times. So there's enough blood from Christ's sins to cover each one of ours. There's enough blood to cover every single sin. I just believe he died on the cross, he was crucified,
and put on a breastplate as a giant,
rose in 3 days, and ascended to the right wing of the Father, right hand of the Father, period. There's just so much esoteric meanings in the Bible that are insane. Like I recommend, what's his name? There's a guy, William Donahue and Robert Breaker showed me about the KJV codes. Like they had. Yeah, sure. Men wrote that, but they were divinely inspired. Like God guided their hand. 666 is carbon 12, 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons. The number of man and the number of beast. Like there's that example. There's so much.
And received unto him
but like,
as were ready to perish.
I'm not like closed-minded. Like I research other religions and such.
To fight against Israel,
you know, even occultism still.
Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him, and so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain.
Like how would they possibly know this? You could look at the Bible as a
spoils and Apollonius.
Here's one example. Christ was crucified at 33. There's 33 vertebrae in the spine. And he was crucified between the two thieves, which represent the left and right hemisphere of the brain. Like how could they have known this back then? Christ, well no, specifically the Holy Spirit could be seen as Kundalini, even though when I had that experience with the Book of Job, because I have like a fucking autoimmune disease, like that's affecting my vision and shit. My story resembles Job in a way, though I wasn't as perfect as Job, but when I was reading the KJV, it like reflected in me. It was like looking into a mirror when I was reading the Book of Job.
Unto whom Judas answered,
I forgot what I was saying.
It is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few, and with the God of heaven it is all.
Yeah, so God tortured. Well, God made a bet with Satan with Job.
Or a small company.
Like my most faithful follower, he will stop following you if I make him suffer enough.
Cometh from heaven. They that come up against us in
I just believe it's perfect for me. The systems work for me. All the occultist bullshit never worked. It just brought me illness and death. And when you open them portals, you don't close them. You can't. When you open those worlds, those portals,
as soon as he had left off speaking, he left.
Essentially, there's nothing new under the sun. Even like our, screens when we touch.
And they pursued them from the going down of Bethoron unto
our screens, which are made of glass, that's sand, and sand divination.
Into the land of the
and they're all black screens that are
Then
used
began the
scrying.
fear of
Usually,
Judas and his brethren,
you scrying
and
like
exceeding
a
great
bowl of
dread
water
to fall upon the nations
or
round about
obsidian.
them, insomuch as his fame came unto the king.
It's just a perfect
and all
system for me.
nations
But
talked of the
yeah, Robert
violence
Breaker
of
and
Judas.
Robert Breaker is more of a.
Now when King Antiochus heard
I think he's a
these things,
Protestant.
he was full of indignation.
He showed me the
Wherefore he
KGB
sent and gathered together all the
1611.
forces
How
of his realm,
it was written
even
in
a
7
very
years.
strong army.
He showed me the
also
7
treasure,
code
and
in
gave
the
his soldiers
KGB.
pay for a year, commanding them to be
1611
ready
KGB
whensoever
with the
they should
Apocrypha.
meet them. Nevertheless,
This is the
when he saw that
Apocrypha.
the money of his treasures failed, and that the tributes in the country were
KGB
small because of the dissension and
1611
plague which he had brought upon the land
7
in
code.
taking away the laws which had been the
There's a
whole
good
time,
website.
he feared that he should not be able to bear the charges any
Numerical
longer,
patterns within
nor
the
to have
1611
such
King
gifts
James
to
Bible,
give so
heavily
liberally
featuring the number
as he did
7,
before.
often termed
For he
as
had
the
abandoned
Elton
above
anomaly.
the
That's what it's
things
called, the
that
Elton
were before.
anomaly.
Wherefore, being greatly
The
perplexed
total
in his
word
mind,
count is
he
7 to the
determined to
7th
go into
power.
Persia,
Like, this is
there
impossible. We didn't know this
tributes of
until
the
we had
countries,
computers.
and to gather much money.
The Elton,
So he left
it's
Lysias,
so
a
fucking
nobleman
incredible.
and
Like,
one of the blood royal,
just blew my
to
mind.
oversee the affairs of the
The
kingdom
Elton
from
anomaly.
the river Euphrates unto the borders of
So,
Egypt, and to bring up his
including
son
text, titles, and
Antiochus
headers,
until he came
is 7
again.
to the 7th power.
Moreover, he delivered
fucking
unto
insane.
him the half of his forces and the elephants.
But
and
Christianity
gave him
as a
charge of
whole,
all
it's
things
just,
that
it's
he
just
would have done,
perfect for me.
as also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem, to wit that he should send an army against them to destroy
that's
and
it.
root out the strength of Israel
The Elton
and
code.
the remnant of Jerusalem,
Elton.
and to take away their memorial from that place,
There was a
and that he
good,
should
there was a good site. I
strangers
had
in all their quarters and divide
Elton
their land like lot.
anomaly.
So the king took the half of the forces that remained and departed from Antioch, his royal city, the 147th
Elton anomaly.
year. And having passed the river Euphrates, he went through the high country.
Like, it's impossible. How could they
chose
have known that?
the son of Dorymenes, Nicanor, and Gorgias, mighty men of the king's friends.
William
and with them
Donna,
he sent
Hugo.
40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land.
That's
of
what I
Judah
believe, but I'm
and
not
to
closed-minded.
destroy
Like, I'll research other
as the king
systems.
commanded. So they went forth with all their power.
This is more
and
esoteric
came and
Bible.
pitched by Emmaus,
And
in
then
the
Robert
plain country.
Breaker,
And the
KGB.
merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much, with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines.
KGB format,
joined
like the
themselves
dude,
unto
it's
them.
fucking insane.
Now when Judas and his brethren saw that the miseries were multiplying,
Like, shit, I
and
was
that the
doing,
forces
I was
did
doing
encamp
yoga,
themselves
like,
in their borders,
in
for
Christianity
they knew
specifically,
how the
like,
king had given commandment
you know,
to destroy
fasting
the
and
people
such.
and utterly abolish
It's
them.
promote all
They
religions
said
really
one to
promote
another,
fasting, but
"Let us
fasting and
restore
prayer,
the decayed
like,
fortune of our people.
there's scientific
fight
evidence that
for our
prayer is
people and
shown
sanctuary."
to actually heal you.
Then was the congregation gathered together,
Scientific.
that they might be
I better not
ready
use
for
Google.
battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion.
Even
Now
DuckDuckGo is
Jerusalem lay
CuckGo.
void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down.
What was I looking up?
Aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Massah
Prayer and
over
healing.
against Jerusalem. For
The efficacy of prayer.
was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted on that day, and put on sackcloth, and cast ashes upon their heads, and rent their clothes, and laid open the
By
book of
invoking
the law,
prayer,
wherein
researchers
the heathen
invite
had
tools
sought
to
to
push
print the
the
likeness of their images. They brought also the priests' garments, and the
I
first
think I need to use the index.
and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, What
Yeah,
shall
prayer
we do
heals
with these? And whither shall we carry them away? For
Prayer,
thy sanctuary
I use
is
prayer as a
trodden
form
down
of
and
meditation.
profaned, and thy priests are in heaviness
Fasting
and
heals
brought
you.
low. And lo, the heathen are
Ketosis,
assembled together
what's
against
the
us
other
to destroy
thing?
us. What things they imagine against us, thou knowest, how shall we be able to stand against them? Except thou, O God, be our help.
Oh my God.
Then sounded they with trumpets and cried with a loud voice.
Not faith, you know, faith
And
healers
after this,
and fucking faith
Judas ordained
healers and shit.
captains over the people, even captains over thousands, and over hundreds, and over fifties.
I
and
can't
over
find the white
tens.
paper.
But as for such as were
Semen
building
retention.
houses, or had betrothed wives, or were planting vineyards, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return, every man to his own house, according to the law. So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Emmaus. And Judas said, Arm yourselves, and be valiant men, and see that ye be in readiness against the morning, that ye may fight with these
Those are
nations
the two
that are
witnesses.
assembled
I got
together
that on my
against us
phone. They don't
to
use this
destroy
no more.
us and our sanctuary. For it is better for us
Yeah,
to
that'd be like the
die
basis, like the Elton
than to
anomaly
behold
blew my
the
mind.
calamities of our people
But yeah,
and our sanctuary.
that answers your question.
Nevertheless, as the will of God is in heaven, so
It is.
let him do.
What is the Elton anomaly? The Elton anomaly is the count of the entire King James Bible.
Meditate in my precepts and have respect.
Which is a total of 7 to the 7th power. Or 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. 7 to the 7th power, or 823,543, is the total number of words and numbers in the King James Bible. It's the structure of the Bible plus the text of the Bible. So if you look on the screen here, you can see that there are different elements that you could consider counting when you're coming up with a count. Because what exactly are you counting? So it includes the verse text. It includes the psalm superscriptions. It includes the colophons. That's the text of the Bible. And it includes the structure of the Bible, which is the cover of the Bible itself, the book titles, the chapters, the verses, and the Psalm 119 divisions. When you combine all of that, you get 7 to the 7th power. Now, what's so amazing about this count is that it's not cherry-picking different items from what we could use. It's using the most important elements of the Bible. For example, page numbers, marginal notes, chapter summaries, the words "the end" at the end of the Bible sometimes appear, sometimes they don't. Page numbers will differ. Footnotes are going to be different from every King James Bible. What we're looking at is what you consistently need to print a King James Bible. The things below on this list, they are not essential. If you're going to preserve a King James Bible for a future generation, what you need are the elements in the 7 to the 7th power count. Now, this count was verified both digitally and manually by hand by my wife and I, going through every single page of the Bible where we physically counted using a pencil, and we were checking what every 100th word on a digital list to make sure we were not messing up, which we did a lot. And we would go back to the previous checkpoint and continue counting to make sure that we counted accurately. So we did that over the course of 2 months or so and verified that it's true. The physical Bible matches the digital count, and the King James Bible in its settled form produces this count of 7 to the 7th power. Forever, O Lord, thy word is settled in heaven. But what if God has always willed his commandment, his word, to be perfectly revealed on earth, just as it is in heaven? After all, the Bible was not made for God, but for man. It was revealed by inspiration of the Holy Ghost through human authors who lived on earth. The Bible is the testimony of Jesus Christ to the world, showing us it is only through the Son that we can have eternal life and forgiveness of sins, so that we can come to the Father. Wasn't it Jesus who prayed, "Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven"? If God's word is settled in heaven, then surely he wills it to be settled on earth also. And if that is the will of the Father, who can prevent him from performing it? The King James Bible is published in word-for-word uniformity across the world. No matter where it's found, in the store, on your lap, or in a mission field, it will always read the same in every chapter and every verse. Some critics have asked, which edition of the King James Bible are you printing? As if there's multiple editions. The only two settled texts of the King James Bible that exists is the PCE, Pure Cambridge Edition, and the Concord, which is the one that we counted, the Cambridge Concord. Every King James Bible you get today, no matter who publishes it, if they're actually printing a King James Bible, will be using one of these PCE or Concord counts. There is only a one-word difference from the PCE to the Concord. The PCE has an extra word "and" in Exodus 23:23 that is not in the Concord. So there's 790,850 words in the PCE, 790,849 words in the Concord. Now I get into this in more detail in the longer Elton Anomaly video, but I'll briefly explain it here. That the King James Bible has two titles: King James Version or Authorized Version. King James Version has 3 words, Authorized Version has 2 words, which is pretty coincidental that there is 2 settled editions of the King James Bible with a difference of 1 in their word count, because with the title King James Version, the Concord edition produces 7 to the 7th power. And with the title Authorized Version, the PCE produces a total of 7 to the 7th power. So I can understand how somebody who doesn't believe would look at that and say that's manipulation. I would, as a believer, say that that is manipulation on behalf of God. Like, he purposely did it like that because he verifies things with 2 or 3 witnesses. The King James Bible settled into these 2 final editions, and they still fall into agreement with this 7 to the 7th power count, no matter which one, because of that 1-word difference. Which is pretty crazy. I mean, if it were to settle into one particular way, then somebody could say, well, with the Authorized Version, the word title Authorized Version, it wouldn't work. But you can't say that. You literally, no matter which title you pick, you have to say that, yes, there is a 7 to the 7th power count that goes along with it. Now, the most convincing evidence, in my opinion, is the internal witnesses in the Old Testament and New Testament accounts. So the cover is Holy Bible, King James Version, 5 words. Okay? The Old Testament and the New Testament accounts bear witness to the names of Moses and Jesus Christ and the Lamb's Book of Life. So if you look at this PDF here, now you can download this on kgvcode.com for free. You can download all this stuff for free. All of my stuff is always free. But if you look at the Old Testament count, it's 634,555. And the New Testament count is 188,983. The last 3 digits of both of those numbers, first of all, 555 is how many times Christ shows up in the Bible, and 983 is how many times Jesus shows up in the Bible. In this Bible, not in a different translation, in the same one that gives you those counts. So it's as if his own name is signed into the Old Testament and New Testament counts. But furthermore, there are no other names associated with those numbers. So we're not cherry picking. 555 is associated with the name of Christ and no other name in the Bible. 983 times that Jesus shows up, there is no other name that shows up 983 times in the Bible. Guys, it's not even in like a ballpark. It's the exact numbers. Like, is laser precision. But it's not just the last 3 digits of each count. It's the first 3 digits too. In the Old Testament count, the first 3 digits are 634. That's how many times Moses shows up in the law of Moses, in the 5 books of Moses, Genesis to Deuteronomy. And this is the Old Testament count. The Old Testament is represented by Moses. For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. There is no other name associated with the number 634 in any segment of the Bible or the Bible as a whole than the name of Moses. It is only Moses associated with this number 634. The reason for that, by the way, is that it is rare to find any names in the Bible mentioned more than 400 times. Most names are mentioned way less than that. But when it comes to Moses, Jesus, and Christ, it just so happens that these 3 numbers perfectly are showing up in these counts. And the last one, in the first 3 digits of the New Testament, 188, is associated with 3 different words. Now, this one could be associated with other words, but these 3 stick out like a sore thumb. Like, these 3 words go together. The words associated with 188, lamb or lambs, shows up 188 times in the Bible. Book shows up 188 times in the Bible. And life shows up 188 times in the New Testament. So you have lamb, book, life. Lamb's Book of Life, Revelation 21:27. How is that just happening coincidentally in God's own book? Isn't it borderline absurd to think that just happened randomly? Now, the main objection to this that I've seen, at least on the video, is besides, which edition of the King James, is why English? What if you counted Hebrew and Greek? Well, first of all, we could never do such a thing. Hebrew and Greek cannot be counted because there's so many different editions, and there's no authoritative Hebrew and Greek where it comes down to every single word is known in the exact count that we can have any certainty over anything. We couldn't count the Hebrew and the Greek, even if we wanted to. But we can with English. And here's the problem with seminaries and Bible institutions and colleges today, is that 99.9% of them teach something that is unbiblical. They teach that God has only inspired the originals. Where does the Bible ever say that? This is not from the Bible. This is man-made philosophy. Therefore, it is open to be contested. And it isn't even... Okay, what happens in Acts 2, the beginning of the church? The Spirit translates the Word of God into different languages of everybody who is there from all around the world. God is not interested in keeping His Word in the original languages. What happens at the end of the world? Revelation 14:6. The Word of God is preached. The everlasting gospel is preached to every tongue in the whole world. God's not interested in keeping His Word in original languages there either. God's actually interested in giving us His Word in our language. That's what we see in the Bible, that the author of all language, He knows how to communicate to us in our language. And we don't ever see Him emphasizing the originals. Ever. If the original language was so important, then the New Testament would be written in Hebrew, not Greek. But here's the thing you really need to think about from God's perspective. Put yourself, obviously we can't put ourselves in God's shoes. How could we? But you can at least see that God, who knows the end from the beginning, knew that in these last days, there would be 8 billion people on this earth, far exceeding anything else in history. And all that population spike started happening around 1611. And 2 billion of those 8 billion people speak English. It is the lingua franca of the world. And that there is no other language even close to it in the history of languages, where you have so many people who can speak and communicate with one language all around the world. God doesn't will that we learn Hebrew and Greek. God wills that we come to Jesus Christ for salvation. And this is the testimony of Jesus Christ, his Son. This is how we get to know who he is. We don't know anything about Jesus without himself revealing it to us. And how do we know who he is? Through his word. Let me go through 3 scriptures that show how this is not just a coincidence. This is scripturally foreordained by God himself. Number 1, Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. The book of the Lord, what is that? That's the scriptures. Look at any other passage that is similar to that in the Bible that's talking about the law, that's talking about the word of God, the scriptures. But it says, seek ye. Who is supposed to seek out of the book of the Lord and read? Who's the ye talking about? The key is in verse 1 of Isaiah 34. Isaiah 34, verse 1 says, come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. The ye that is supposed to seek out of this book and read is everybody in earth. Now the question is when? When is that supposed to happen? When is it supposed to take place? Is it in Isaiah's time? No. The whole chapter of Isaiah 34 is unfulfilled end times prophecy, which means the ye, the nations, the world, that is supposed to seek out of this book is a future generation from when Isaiah wrote this. Everybody in the world is supposed to seek out of the book of the Lord after the end time, during and after the end time events. That's talking about a Bible that exists today, assuming we're at the last days. Isaiah 34:16 could be talking about the Bible in general, right? It could be talking about any Bible. The reason that's not true is because when you actually look at different Bible translations, it describes God differently. It has verses changed all over the place, contradicting each other, making it impossible for all of them to be the same testimony from God. Not all of them can be true. And if not all of them can be true, not all of them can be from him. There has to be at least one that is true. If God's telling you to seek out of his book, that means his book has been made available by himself, which means it is true, which means it cannot contradict. All these Bibles that say contradicting things to the King James Bible, including the New King James, sometimes says the exact opposite as the King James Bible. They cannot possibly all be the book of the Lord. If God has prophesied his book is going to be available to the end times, it's going to be perfect. Which brings us to our next verse. Psalm 119:96 says, I have seen an end of all perfection, but thy commandment is exceeding broad. What is God's commandment? That's his word, and it's exceeding broad. And the psalmist says, I have seen an end of all perfection. It's almost like he's been given a vision of this end of all perfection, which is in context God's commandment. What is God's number of perfection?
Bro just started me in a whole fucking
7. From Genesis to Revelation, God's number of perfection is 7.
Dissertation.
An end. What's the end of something? What's the number of ends? It's 7. All, an end of all perfection. What's the number of completion at a fullness? Is 7. An end of all perfection. I have seen an end of all perfection, but thy commandment is exceeding broad. It's almost like God was prophesying that his book would reach this final state, an end of all perfection. Obviously, when the psalmist wrote this, it wasn't at all perfection. It wasn't at an end. The Bible is still being written. So where is this end of all perfection? Do you think it's here? where this Bible in its absolute resting place sits at a total count of 7 to the 7th power. Something else that is super important about this Psalm 119 prophecy is the fact that it's in Psalm 119. Because one of the major objections to the Elton anomaly count is that it includes chapter and verse counts, as if God did not inspire them or did not know about them, and they're a human invention. Psalm 119 is direct proof that God has interest in the structure of his word. Psalm 119 is the longest chapter in the Bible. The entire thing is not only the longest chapter in the Bible, the entire thing is about the Bible. The entire chapter is about the Word of God. And the entire thing is structured. It's an acrostic psalm. Every 8 verses goes to the next letter. It starts with the same letter in Hebrew, 8 verses in a row. And then it moves on to the next letter. 8 verses, same letter, moves on to the next verse. Every single verse starts with the same letter. It does that for all 22 Hebrew letters. So for example, the 96th verse of Psalm 119 has always contained the end of all perfection, even in Hebrew. So someone who says verse divisions can't be inspired, it's no matter what language it's in, this has always been the 96th verse. The 96th line has always been an end of all perfection in Psalm 119. But an even greater example than Psalm 119 over the numeric structure of God's word is not just in a chapter of the Bible, it's in an entire book of the Bible. Do you know what book that is? Did you know if somebody says that chapters and verses are not inspired, can you prove it? Yes, we can prove it from the original writings from an entire book. That's the book of Lamentations. Most people don't know this, but Lamentations is not just alphabetically structured, it's numerically structured by God. Look at how this is structured. The first 2 chapters, you see 22 verses each. That's because it's acrostic. The first letter starts with the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph. And then the next verse starts with Bet. And then the Gimel. And then Daleth. And it keeps going to the last letter. Same thing with chapter 2. And then chapter 3, it goes 3 verses at a time. So 3 verses start with Aleph. 3 verses start with Bet. 3 verses start with Gimel, all the way to the last letter. Same thing in chapter 4, it's 22 verses, acrostic. But look at chapter 5 in the green. The reason that it's green and it has this 1, 2, 3 symbol instead of the Aleph symbol for acrostic is that this chapter is not acrostic. It's not ordered alphabetically, and yet it has 22 verses, which means God wasn't just interested in the alphabetic structure of this book. Look how symmetrical this book is. Lamentations has 5 chapters, and look at the symmetry of it. 22 verses on either side, in the middle, 22 times 3. That last chapter has 22 verses for numeric reasons. It doesn't have anything to do with acrostics at that point. God abandoned the acrostics. He abandoned the alphabetic structure and sealed off the book numerically, saying, this has 22 verses because numerically there is a purpose. There is a structure to this book. And if God has inspired the structure of this book in the originals, who is to say that God didn't have an even greater structure in mind for the entire Bible? Because that's how God works. He shows things in patterns and shadows when they're first revealed. The shadow of Jesus points to Jesus. And I might say the shadow of the Bible, the structure, the numeric structure of the Bible points to the whole Bible. The whole Bible was meant to come together exactly the way that it did in God's providence. The last verse I want to read is Psalm 12, 6-7. The words of the Lord are pure words. The words. As silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified how many times? 7. What are purified 7 times? God's words are purified 7 times.
7 chakras?
It says it in the Bible itself, that his words are purified 7 times. I mean, lots of things in the Bible are sevened, but even his words. And how long does God preserve those words for? Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. That's what this Bible says. That's what this 7 to the 7th power Bible says, that God's words are purified 7 times, that he will preserve them forever. Does God have a book in the end times that can be sought out by everybody in the world and can be read? According to this Bible, yes, he does. Does God say that he has an end of all perfection for his exceeding broad commandment? According to this book, yes, there is an end of all perfection. Does God purify his words 7 times and preserve them forever? According to this Bible, yes, he does. How do we rationally come to any other conclusion than this is of God? This was revealed to us in an age, the digital age, where, get this, we didn't count the Bible and say that, okay, now it's done. The Bible was already in its settled state, and then we counted it. The Bible already reached to its absolute resting place. And because it was at this absolute resting place, we had the confidence to go in there and count it, because it's never going to change anymore, because we're in the digital age. We can not only count the entire Bible in its entirety like we're doing right now. Nobody could have done that in a previous age, but we can preserve it word for word forever in this final state. Could you imagine what people 1,000 years ago, well, I mean, if you told them, this is before the printing press, could you imagine telling scribes who had to hand copy the Bible 1,000 years ago that one day that God's Bible, the whole Bible, would be all together in one book, printed 3 billion times, printed the exact same way across the entire world, and its count would be 7 to the 7th power? What do you think the reaction of that scribe would be? Like, there's no way. How? And yet it's here. It happened. If they dug up a scroll with 66 books on it, all 66 books of the Bible, and it added up to 7 to 7th power, I mean, that would be world news, right? At least in the Christian community, right? In the church. The book with 7 to 7th power is in our hands, and it's the most memorized and most influential and most cherished Bible ever printed. God did that, not man. Not coincidence or chance. God did that.
Anyway, I want to see his other videos. KGB. The Elton Anomaly. It's 1 hour. Fucking 2 hour video.
This is the biggest anomaly in the history of mankind. This is the ultimate proof that God gave us the Bible. It was like October 23rd, I get this email. So I open the email, I read it. Immediately I go to verify it to see if it is true. It doesn't take me long to figure out that it matches exactly with the counts that we see with Pure Bible Search, the program that we've been using. Basically, it was verified in a sense. But the thing is that it looks at every single word of the Bible. So we know how many words are in the Bible according to Pure Bible Search. But this thing wasn't looking at just the words of the Bible. This text file was set up so that it had the book titles, it had the cover of the Bible, Holy Bible, King James Version, it had the chapters, the chapter numbers, the verses, and then the words. Basically, this guy was getting a count in his word processor for the whole thing. And the result that it was giving is the biggest miracle, anomaly, ever. Before we go any further, let's read. Numbers 14:11. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe me? For all the signs which I have showed among them. Just like they saw all those wonders of God in Egypt and in the wilderness, so we are about to see Him, the Lord, and what He has done in His finished book. So in this Bible right here, we verified the count of the digital database because all the numbers matched up, but what we had to make sure of was, did it actually match a printed Bible? So we took the most reputable Bible that is available, printed by Cambridge. I'll explain more about that at the end. And it matched. And I'm going to show that without it, you cannot dispute it. I'm going to show every single page of this Bible in this video. Feel free to skip over it if you want. Or if you want, I'm going to just put scripture while I go through it. And then I'm going to show you where it ends. So I was sent this text file, right? Just so you can see how I logically counted everything. And it says Holy Bible, King James Version, and then it says the first book of Moses called Genesis, chapter 1. Now it's set up just like a printed Bible would be, where there is no verse 1. It just has the first word all uppercase, like it would normally in a Bible. So that's how the whole thing is set up. It's just the entire Bible with the actual book titles that are used in Cambridge Bibles, which, by the way, have not changed at all for almost 400 years now, because Cambridge has been printing King James Bibles since 1629, and ever since they are the main guardian, the main custodian of the text. They have never once changed or deviated from their book titles. It has always been this. So any publisher that does deviate, they're deviating from what it should be. In the 1611 edition, it was the exact same as well, except for they missed the two words, the apostle, and Paul the apostle to the Galatians. But otherwise, it was the exact same. Cambridge just added that in because it was missed, and now you have all the exact same book titles. They all stay consistent. Okay, so what's going to happen is, like I said, the person's processor, his word processor, was giving him a count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it was counting chapter as a word. It was counting this number 1 as a word. And all these number 2, 3, 4 is counted as separate words. And it counted the whole thing. And let me just scroll down so you can see. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see it takes you all the way to the very last word of the Bible. Amen. Which, if you've seen other videos, you know already the thing where you have the first and last words of the first and last verses of the Bible. So, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, Genesis 1:1, and then the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. If it loads, help me out here, Pure Bible Search. Amen. Whoops. So when amen is capitalized in the Bible, it gives you 77 mentions. In and amen, the first and last words of the Bible, show up 777 times in Genesis and Revelation. And then once you put it all together like this, once this loads, it gives you first and last words, the first and last verses, 77,777. This happens inside of this greater thing that you're going to see today. What can be greater than that, right? But it's 10 times greater than that. So now that you know, I'm going to basically show you just how we counted through the Bible. We used a clicker here, and basically we would just click this thing, and we would basically use one hand with a clicker and one hand with a pencil. Laura and I, my wife and I, did this for a long time. This took a very long time to do. And we would basically use the pencil in one hand, point to a word and click, and then the next word, and we would keep doing that, going down the page. And what we would do to make sure that we're not deviating is we have this numbered list. So we turned this entire text file into one giant numbered list. And we actually did this with the help of Donna, the lady who created Pure Bible Search. She very kindly did this when I asked her. I was trying to figure it out for myself and I couldn't figure it out, but she did it. Basically, she took that text file and turned the entire thing into a numbered list. So what we did was we went to every 100th word and we cross-checked it with our physical count in the paper Bible to make sure that we were on track. And if we miscounted, we would know at that 100th word that we could go back to the previous 100th word and just start counting again. And we miscounted a lot. I mean, as you can imagine, but it was never the issue with the database or with the printed Bible. It was always us just miscounting. I will explain more details at the end of this. For now, I'm just going to play the proof that anybody in the entire world can see for themselves. And if you don't believe it, feel free to count it. Every single page is going to show up on the screen. You can count it yourself. That this is a legitimate mathematical fact that you're about to see. In the beginning of this, I'm going to show you exactly how we count it for the first 1,000 words. So you can see how long it takes to count 1,000 words. But then after that, I'm just going to flip through the page, all the pages of the Bible one by one. All right, we'll see you on the other side.
Blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies, and that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity, they walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed, when I have respect unto all thy commandments. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart, when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. I will keep thy statutes. O forsake me not utterly. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. With my whole heart have I sought thee. O let me not wander from thy commandments. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. Blessed art thou, O Lord. Teach me thy statutes. With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies, as much as in all riches. I will meditate in thy precepts, and have respect unto thy ways. I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word. Deal bountifully with thy servant, that I may live and keep thy word. Open thou mine eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law. I am a stranger in the earth. Hide not thy commandments from me. My soul breaketh for the longing that it hath unto thy judgments at all times. Thou hast rebuked the proud that are cursed, which do err from thy commandments. Remove from me reproach and contempt, for I have kept thy testimonies. Princes also did sit and speak against me, but thy servant did meditate in thy statutes. Thy testimonies also are my delight and my counselors. My soul cleaveth unto the dust. Quicken thou me according to thy word. I have declared my ways, and thou heardest me. Teach me thy statutes. Make me to understand the way of thy precepts. So shall I talk of thy wondrous works. My soul melteth for heaviness. Strengthen thou me according unto thy word. Remove from me the way of lying, and grant me thy law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth. Thy judgments have I laid before me. I have stuck unto thy testimonies. O Lord, put me not to shame. I will run the way of thy commandments, when thou shalt enlarge my heart. Teach me, O Lord, the way of thy statutes, and I shall keep it unto the end. Give me understanding, and I shall keep thy law. Yea, I shall observe it with my whole heart. Make me to go in the path of thy commandments, for therein do I delight. Incline my heart unto thy testimonies, and not to covetousness. Turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity, and quicken thou me in thy way. Stablish thy word unto thy servant, who is devoted to thy fear. Turn away my reproach which I fear, for thy judgments are good. Behold, I have longed after thy precepts. Quicken me in thy righteousness. Let thy mercies come also unto me, O Lord, even thy salvation according to thy word. So shall I have wherewith to answer him that reproacheth me, for I trust in thy word. And take not the word of truth utterly out of my mouth, for I have hoped in thy judgments. So shall I keep thy law continually forever and ever, and I will walk at liberty, for I seek thy precepts. I will speak of thy testimonies also before kings, and will not be ashamed. And I will delight myself in thy commandments, which I have loved. My hands also will I lift up unto thy commandments, which I have loved, and I will meditate in thy statutes. Remember the word unto thy servant, upon which thou hast caused me to hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, for thy word hath quickened me. The proud have had me greatly in derision, yet have I not declined from thy law. I remembered thy judgments of old, O Lord, and have comforted myself. Horror hath taken hold upon me because of the wicked that forsake thy law. Thy statutes have been my songs in the house of my pilgrimage. I have remembered thy name, O Lord, in the night, and have kept thy law. This I had because I kept thy precepts. Thou art my portion, O Lord. I have said that I would keep thy words. I entreated thy favor with my whole heart. Be merciful unto me according to thy word. I thought on my ways and turned my feet unto thy testimonies. I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments. The bands of the wicked have robbed me, but I have not forgotten thy law. At midnight I will rise to give thanks unto thee because of thy righteous judgments. I am a companion of all them that fear thee, and of them that keep thy precepts. The earth, O Lord, is full of thy mercy. Teach me thy statutes. Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Lord, according unto thy word. Teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed thy commandments. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now have I kept thy word. Thou art good and doest good. Teach me thy statutes. The proud have forged a lie against me, but I will keep thy precepts with my whole heart. Their heart is as fat as grease, but I delight in thy law. It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. The law of thy mouth is better unto me than thousands of gold and silver. Thy hands have made me and fashioned me. Give me understanding that I may learn thy commandments. They that fear thee will be glad when they see me, because I have hoped in thy word. I know, O Lord, that thy judgments are right, and that thou in faithfulness hast afflicted me. Let, I pray thee, thy merciful kindness be for my comfort according to thy word unto thy servant. Let thy tender mercies come unto me that I may live, for thy law is my delight. Let the proud be ashamed, for they dealt perversely with me without a cause. But I will meditate in thy precepts. Let those that fear thee turn unto me, and those that have known thy testimonies. Let my heart be sound in thy statutes, that I be not ashamed. My soul fainteth for thy salvation, but I hope in thy word. Mine eyes fail for thy word, saying, when wilt thou comfort me? For I am become like a bottle in the smoke. Yet do I not forget thy statutes. How many are the days of thy servant? When wilt thou execute judgment on them that persecute me? The proud have digged pits for me, which are not after thy law. All thy commandments are faithful. They persecute me wrongfully. Help thou me. They had almost consumed me upon earth, but I forsook not thy precepts. Quicken me after thy loving kindness, so shall I keep the testimony of thy mouth. Forever, O Lord, thy word is settled in heaven. Thy faithfulness is unto all generations. Thou hast established the earth, and it abideth. They continue this day according to thine ordinances, for all are thy servants. Unless thy law had been my delights, I should then have perished in mine affliction. I will never forget thy precepts, for with them thou hast quickened me. I am thine. Save me, for I have sought thy precepts. The wicked have waited for me to destroy me, but I will consider thy testimonies. I have seen an end of all perfection, but thy commandment is exceeding broad. Oh, how love I thy law! It is my meditation all the day. Thou through thy commandments hast made me wiser than mine enemies, for they are ever with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the ancients, because I keep thy precepts. I have refrained my feet from every evil way, that I might keep thy word. I have not departed from thy judgments, for thou hast taught me. How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. I have sworn, and I will perform it, that I will keep thy righteous judgments. I am afflicted very much. Quicken me, O Lord, according unto thy word. Accept, I beseech thee, the freewill offerings of my mouth, O Lord, and teach me thy judgments. My soul is continually in my hand, yet do I not forget thy law. The wicked have laid a snare for me, yet I erred not from thy precepts. Thy testimonies have I taken as an heritage forever, for they are the rejoicing of my heart. I have inclined mine heart to perform thy statutes alway, even unto the end. I hate vain thoughts, but thy law do I love. Thou art my hiding place and my shield. I hope in thy word. Depart from me, ye evildoers, for I will keep the commandments of my God. Uphold me according unto thy word, that I may live, and let me not be ashamed of my hope. Hold thou me up, and I shall be safe, and I will have respect unto thy statutes continually. Thou hast trodden down all them that err from thy statutes, for their deceit is falsehood. Thou puttest away all the wicked of the earth like dross. Therefore I love thy testimonies. My flesh trembleth for fear of thee, and I am afraid of thy judgments. I have done judgment and justice. Leave me not to mine oppressors. Be surety for thy servant for good. Let not the proud oppress me. Mine eyes fail for thy salvation and for the word of thy righteousness. Deal with thy servant according unto thy mercy, and teach me thy statutes. I am thy servant. Give me understanding, that I may know thy testimonies. It is time for thee, Lord, to work, for they have made void thy law. Therefore I love thy commandments above gold, yea, above fine gold. Therefore I esteem all thy precepts concerning all things to be right, and I hate every false way. Thy testimonies are wonderful, therefore doth my soul keep them. The entrance of thy words giveth light, it giveth understanding unto the simple. I opened my mouth and panted, for I longed for thy commandments. Look thou upon me and be merciful unto me, as thou usest to do unto those that love thy name. Order my steps in thy word, and let not any iniquity have dominion over me. Deliver me from the oppression of man, so will I keep thy precepts. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant, and teach me thy statutes. Rivers of waters run down mine eyes, because they keep not thy law. Righteous art thou, O Lord, and upright are thy judgments. Thy testimonies that thou hast commanded are righteous and very faithful. My zeal hath consumed me, because mine enemies have forgotten thy words. Thy word is very pure, therefore thy servant loveth it. I am small and despised, yet do not I forget thy precepts. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Trouble and anguish have taken hold on me, yet thy commandments are my delights. The righteousness of thy testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding, and I shall live. I cried with my whole heart, hear me, O Lord, I will keep thy statutes. I cried unto thee, save me, and I shall keep thy testimonies. I prevented the dawning of the morning, and cried, I hoped in thy word. Mine eyes prevent the night watches, that I might meditate in thy word. Hear my voice according unto thy loving kindness. O Lord, quicken me according to thy judgment. They draw nigh that follow after mischief. They are far from thy law. Thou art near, O Lord, and all thy commandments are true. Concerning thy testimonies, I have known of old that thou hast founded them forever. Consider mine affliction and deliver me, for I do not forget thy law. Plead my cause and deliver me, quicken me according to thy word. Salvation is far from the wicked, for they seek not thy statutes. Great are thy tender mercies, O Lord, quicken me according to thy judgments. Many are my persecutors and mine enemies, yet do I not decline from thy testimonies. I beheld the transgressors and was grieved, because they kept not thy word. Consider how I love thy precepts. Quicken me, O Lord, according to thy loving kindness. Thy word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteous judgments endureth forever. Princes have persecuted me without a cause, but my heart standeth in awe of thy word. I rejoice at thy word as one that findeth great spoil. I hate and abhor lying, but thy law do I love. 7 times a day do I praise thee because of thy righteous judgments. Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Lord, I have hoped for thy salvation, and done thy commandments. My soul hath kept thy testimonies, and I love them exceedingly. I have kept thy precepts and thy testimonies, for all my ways are before thee. Let my cry come near before thee, O Lord. Give me understanding according to thy word. Let my supplication come before thee. Deliver me according to thy word. My lips shall utter praise when thou hast taught me thy statutes. My tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness. Let thine hand help me, for I have chosen thy precepts. I have longed for thy salvation, O Lord, and thy law is my delight. Let my soul live, and it shall praise thee, and let thy judgments help me. I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek thy servant, for I do not forget thy commandments.
Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know. Thomas saith unto him, Lord, we know not whither thou goest, and how can we know the way? Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also. And from henceforth ye know him, and have seen him. Philip saith unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it sufficeth us. Jesus saith unto him, Have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, Show us the Father? Believest thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me. Or else believe me for the very works' sake. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. If ye love me, keep my commandments. And I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another Comforter, that he may abide with you forever, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him. But ye know him, for he dwelleth with you, and shall be in you. I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. Yet a little while, and the world seeth me no more. But ye see me. Because I live, ye shall live also. At that day ye shall know that I am in my Father, and ye in me, and I in you. He that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him, and will manifest myself to him. Judas saith unto him, not Iscariot, Lord, how is it that thou wilt manifest thyself unto us, and not unto the world? Jesus answered and said unto him, If a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we will come unto him, and make our abode with him. He that loveth me not, keepeth not my sayings, and the word which ye hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. These things have I spoken unto you, being yet present with you. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Ye have heard how I said unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If ye loved me, ye would rejoice, because I said, I go unto the Father, for my Father is greater than I. And now I have told you, before it come to pass, that when it is come to pass, ye might believe. Hereafter I will not talk much with you, for the prince of this world cometh, and hath nothing in me. But that the world may know that I love the Father, and as the Father gave me commandment, even so I do. Arise, let us go hence. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit, for without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered. And men gather them, and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments, and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. These things I command you, that ye love one another. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hateth me hateth my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this cometh to pass, that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law, they hated me without a cause. But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me. And ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God service. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come ye may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you asketh me, Whither goest thou? But because I have said these things unto you, sorrow hath filled your heart. Nevertheless I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin, and of righteousness, and of judgment. Of sin, because they believe not on me. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father, and ye see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. He shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show it unto you. All things that the Father hath are mine. Therefore said I, that he shall take of mine, and shall show it unto you. A little while, and ye shall not see me. And again a little while, and ye shall see me, because I go to the Father. Then said some of his disciples among themselves, What is this that he saith unto us, A little while, and ye shall not see me, and again a little while, and ye shall see me, and because I go to the Father? They said therefore, What is this that he saith a little while? We cannot tell what he saith. Now Jesus
Seven to the seventh power. Every single word, every single number. Basically, here's what it is. It's the words of the Bible married to the structure of the Bible. It's the combination of both of them. Because you're looking at the book titles, including the cover of the Bible, the name of the whole Bible, the book, the volume of the book. You're including chapters, verses, and then the words. You're including everything. Seven times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 exactly. With the 666, you see 666 verses that mention all three of the people, the persons that are associated with that number in the Bible, with the number itself. If you've seen that video, you see all these perfect things with the first and last verses, and with Jesus and the Father and Son. And all of these perfect things are within that, or within 7 to the 7th power. So when anybody who thinks that verse divisions were just put in by man, yeah, they were. Just like the rest of the Bible was written by a man, inspired by the Holy Ghost. The whole thing was meant to come together. And a verse is coming to mind that I've covered before, but it's, more than ever applies now. At the end of John 15, Jesus says, "When the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me." This book is the testimony, the sworn testimony of Jesus Christ. When God swears by himself, he sevens himself. So his word, when he sevens his word, he's doing it by an oath. Like, he can swear by no greater, so he swears by himself.
In Psalms it says that he has magnified his word above all his name. The reason for that is because it's just like when you have a king. The king, once he puts out a decree, not even he has the authority to change it and take it back and to mess around with it. He must live by that. And that's exactly the kind of God that we serve. Once he puts it out, the word does not return him to a void. It accomplishes exactly what he pleases. What he has put out of his mouth is a book, that is a sword, that is a testimony of his Son. And if you have ever read any portion of the Bible, or if you know anything about the Bible, you know God's perfect number is 7 all the way throughout, from the beginning to the end. Jesus is the Lamb, 7 horns, 7 eyes. In the midst of that throne is a rainbow, which is 7 colors, and there's 7 lamps of fire, which are the 7 spirits of God. I mean, if the whole thing, he has a book that is 7 seals. People have asked me, I've showed a couple people this so far, and a couple of them have speculated that. Does this have anything to do with the 7 sealed book in Revelation? I have no idea. I have no idea. But obviously something is going on. I mean, this is beyond an anomaly. This is beyond miraculous. This is directly blatant. It's not even like, what's the word to describe this? It's unquestionable. This is God. This is what he has done to reveal himself in these last times before Jesus Christ returns. So anyways, this thing was sent to me from a brother in South Africa. I did not discover this. I just verified it, and Laura and I, my wife and I, we took the time for over a month to hours per day just go through every single word. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about now is specifically the details of this, because whether it's if it's not you, somebody else is going to be asking you questions, whether they're raising an objection or they just genuinely want to know like what is going on here. I want to go over some details on the edition of the King James that we're using, and 1611 versus today, the King James Bible is printed today. So basically, if you don't know this, the King James Bible, it's the most printed book in the world. It's the most published Bible in history. It's the most read, the most preached. It is literally believed by people all around the world today to be perfect. And they have no, I mean, this is a discovery that is just now being presented. Nobody had any idea this existed. So the King James Bible in itself is unique in the sense that it came at a time where it was right after the printing press. It was right before, maybe right during the greatest population spike in history of man, where it just went from like to the billions of people. English becoming the international language, the world language, where it is, you will find English just about everywhere. People speak English all around the globe. So this is not just a random Bible. This is not in the original languages, no. Show me a verse where God's going to keep everything in the original languages and we can talk. But as we're going to see, in this next video that I'm working on, that's going to include this at the end of it. It will have a detailed breakdown of Isaiah 34, which I've done in the past on my channel, but this is even more, a little bit more in depth and a little bit more engaging, where we're going to be going into Isaiah 34, showing you that the book of the Lord is in the end times. In fact, if you go to Revelation 14, verse 6, it says, "And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth." Now we're dealing in Revelation and end time prophecy, right? So this angel is going to preach unto them that dwell on the earth. And look at what it says. "And to every nation and kindred and tongue and people." So people who speak English, assuming English will still be here in the last days when this happens, when this is fulfilled, are going to hear the word of God from this angel. So God knows English very well. God knows all languages. Okay, so this is not a hard thing for God. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Now, what you might be asking, are we dealing, if you know anything about the King James Bible, you know there's basically 2 editions. Now, as you saw in this, I go back up to the very top. So it says Holy Bible King James Version. Well, you say it's not known as the King James Version by some people. It's known as the Authorized Version, right? So why what if it was authorized version instead of King James? Well, that would be one less word. Now here's the thing. There's two main editions of the King James Bible today. There's two main printings. There's what we call the Pure Cambridge edition, and then there is what we call the Concord edition, or the 1769 in digital database is what it's called. We counted the Concord, and the Concord is what goes along with King James Version. If you were to use authorized version, then the PCE, Pure Cambridge edition, would actually give you the 7th to the 7th count as well, because the PCE has one extra word. And I can even show you here. So in Exodus 23, where it says, right here, the Hivites. So this is using, as you can see, the 1769, which was going to match the Concord that we counted with. The 1769 says the Hivites in Exodus 23:23. The Pure Cambridge edition says and the Hivites, where the and is italicized. And I do have that I can show you as well. So Pure Cambridge edition. Okay. So if I go to Exodus 23 here in the Pure Cambridge edition, you see and the Hivites. Okay, so that does not appear in the Concord edition. So that's the only one word difference. If I go to the details of this, whoops. If I go to the details, I'm going to pin this. It gives you a total amount of words in the Bible. So the Pure Cambridge edition has 790,850. And then the Concord of the 1769 has 790,849. There's a one word difference. That's the only difference in word count. We actually have the founder of Pure Bible Search had the computer compare both databases and spit out the exact differences. And that is the only word count difference. So whether you go with King James Version or authorized version, you still end up with a perfect count because there's two different versions. It's like God has perfectly set it up like this. Now, there is a more perfect, the 1769 and Concord one is the more perfect one. However, the Pure Cambridge one would have showed up first in history because King James Bibles printed in the the early 1900s when the Pure Cambridge edition was being printed. I believe the Cambridge Cameo, which is still printed today, has the same count as the Pure Cambridge edition. I haven't ever counted that one, and I do not plan to, but as far as I know, it has the exact count as the Pure Cambridge edition. It does have that extra and in Exodus 23:23. So the count would have existed back then, but the Concord edition is more perfect. And the reason for that is, let me pull up, this is how I verified it, by the way. So basically, we know how many chapters are in the Bible, or in each book. We know how many verses are in each book in the entire Bible. We know how many words are in each book. Thanks to Pure Bible Search, this data has already been available to us. We could have figured this out a long time ago. It's just putting pieces together. It's just putting the structure of the Bible together with the words of the Bible. The only thing that I had not done before was I had not looked at how many words were in the book titles of the Bible. I mean, normally you just call it Genesis. You don't actually look at the full thing, right? But what's interesting is, you see how there's 7 words in the book title of the first 5 books of Moses' books? So the first book of Moses, called Genesis, has 7 words. There is no other book that has 7 words in the book title until you get to Revelation, the very last. So again, first and the last with the 7s. It's almost like a blatant type of, you should be checking this, right? So we have the first book of Moses, called Genesis, has 7 words in the book title. It has 50 chapters, 1,533 verses, 38,262 words, and it gives you a total of 39,852. Now, there's so many things I need to cover here, but basically the reason this works is because when you see chapter 8 would count as 2, right? However, there is no verse 1 printed, like a number 1. So that invisible unprinted 1 offsets with the number 8 when you're counting it physically like we were counting it. Technically, counting it like that was a bit odd, but it worked. Like, because of that offset, it allows us to count it almost perfectly throughout the Bible in that fashion, which is why we did it like that. We were expecting it to just fully give us the perfect count. The only thing that we ran into was that in Obadiah, Philemon, 2 John, 3 John, and Jude, which are the only books in the Bible that have one chapter each, because there's only one chapter, it doesn't divide it into chapter division. So it doesn't say chapter 1. So we just wrote it in there because it is a chapter. We do count it as a chapter, it just doesn't divide it into chapters. But the structure of the Bible itself, we don't say there's 1,185 chapters of the Bible. We say 1,189 because that's how much there is. Those are chapters. But basically, it was an easy way to go back and forth with our list and cross-check every 100th word to make sure it's the exact same. Okay, so by the way, even if you were to say, well, because there's no chapter 1 there and there's one chapter books, then it doesn't count. Even if you were to try to say that, you can easily, with all the logic in the world, include the New Testament title page, the main heading of it, which is the New Testament of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So it's 10 words. So those 10 words you would have gotten from chapter 1, chapter 1, chapter 1, chapter 1, chapter 1. You could easily just say, okay, well, New Testament title page. There was no Old Testament title page, especially here in this Concord edition. So the Concord is basically the final product of the King James Bible in its true heritage. Because Cambridge recently, when they started printing Bibles again after Concord, it was in digital. But the Concord wasn't in digital. It was with a hot metal plate where basically every single Concord edition is basically a facsimile of each other because it's literally in metal and you can't change it. They had to meticulously type out with whatever machine they used every single line and have it done and spaced out. Like, there's no computers when the Concord was made. This Bible was made before computers. The 7 to the 7th count existed before computers. Cambridge put a lot of effort and a lot of money and a lot of time into the Concord edition, and they didn't create any other Bible after that for a long time because of that, because it was the gold standard, and it still is the gold standard. It is basically the King James Bible in its perfect form. Now, here's why. Here we have all of the Old Testament, and this was done with an Excel sheet. Okay, so this is what happens, right? And by the way, this is the count. I'm not sure if you picked up on this. It does include those Psalm 119 inscriptions. So Aleph, Bet, all those Hebrew letter inscriptions, which are in the printed Bible as well. It includes all inscriptions, all Psalm inscriptions and the headings, all Psalm 119 inscriptions, all the inscriptions at the end of the epistles. It doesn't exclude anything. It counts it all. It counts the whole Bible. So as you can see, it gives you a total of 7 to the 7th power. But look at the Old Testament and the New Testament counts. Basically, you're getting 5 from the Bible cover, Holy Bible, King James Version, which is exactly what is on the cover, right? And, I mean, that's the main... Holy Bible, King James Version. That's what it's called. I mean, if you go to the, Barnes & Noble or the bookstore or something, that's how most of them are. Or, I mean, a good majority of them are. That's what the Bible is called. Okay, so you 5 words of the book cover. The Old Testament gives you a count of 634,555. People are going to recognize that if they've done any research into Pure Bible Research. At least they'll recognize what 555 is. And then the New Testament count is 188,983. .555 is how many times Christ shows up in the Bible. 983 is how many times Jesus shows up in the Bible raw. And we're looking at every single word, that we're dealing with the whole Bible. So logically, we're looking at the raw mentions. So you're saying the Old Testament and the New Testament count have Christ and Jesus signed into it. into the 7 to the 7th power count. If you're familiar with, if you're a little bit more advanced, you'll know what 188 is as well. It's a couple of different things. Book shows up 188 times, and the word Bible means book, the book of Jesus. Also, lamb shows up 188 times when you look at all forms of lamb. So lamb or lambs or lambs. And then if you just look up in the New Testament only, if you were to look up all mentions of life, 188 times. Lamb's Book of Life. Okay, which shows up in chapter 1188. If you don't believe me, go to Revelation 21, 1188, the very last words. But they which are written in the Lamb's Book of Life. All three of those have a connection to 188. Okay, so Christ, Jesus, and then book, lamb, life, and then 634. Man, there's no way. 634. There's only one standalone word in the entire King James Bible that will give you this count. And I'll prove it to you. So let me open up a Google sheet that has every single raw mention. By the way, I'm going to make all of these documents available to download, every single one of them, so you can check all of it yourself. Here's my copy of raw mentions of every single word in the King James Bible. So basically, on the left side we have the word, and then we have how many times it shows up in the entire Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, and then every single book, how many times in the law, how many times in Old Testament history, how many times in wisdom, etc. Okay, so if I go to command find, it's going to pull up this little thing. I'm going to type in 634. It's only going to give me one result in this entire, all of the words. I mean, this is a huge data sheet, and it's looking at the counts of all of these books, all these groupings of books. The only time, the only word that has any association with that number is Moses in the law. So if I go to Pure Bible Search, and if let me just clear this. If I type in Moses, and if I go to only the law, the 5 books that Moses wrote, the 5 books of Moses, which represents the Old Testament, you get 634 mentions of Moses. No other standalone word in the Bible will give you that number. So we have 634 associated with Moses and the books of Moses, 555 representing Christ, 188 representing book, lamb, book, life, 983 Jesus. And remember the raw counts, right? Remember how Moses, Jesus, and Christ give you 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 mentions. When you look at all their mentions in the entire Bible, in the Old and New Testament, in the verse text, when you exclude Psalm superscriptions. So, and then Jesus and Christ, just when you look at Jesus and Christ, they show up 777 plus 777 times when you include Christ or Christ. So, I mean, who can deny it? These are mathematical facts. This exists. People who try to accuse this type of thing as divination or as what's the other thing they call? Like they just try to put it in a bad light, like it's some sort of magic, right? This is not magic. This is not trying to prophesy something in the future, like divination. We're trying to be giving you a false prophecy. This is just giving you statistics, giving you literal counts of what exists in the Bible. This is what it is. This is not a pattern in the Bible, guys. This is the Bible. 7 to the 7th power is the Bible in my hands, with Jesus Christ signed into it in the Old and the New Testament accounts. So what I did was I broke this down by book, which is what you just saw. I also broke it down by chapter. So if you want to look at it by chapter, you can break it down by chapter as well. So we have the chapter number here, how many verses, how many words. So you can scroll all the way down to the bottom and you can see how many verses, how many words, and it gives you the whole breakdown. How many words are in the book titles, which, by the way, the words in the book titles, remember how book is mentioned 188 times. The words in the book titles, there's 376 in total. 376 is 188 plus 188. So back to what I mean by that. All these, if you count all these words, this entire column right here, words and book titles, gives you 188 on average. Now here it's counting, it says 381 because it's counting the Bible cover. But without the Bible cover, it would give you 188 on average for both the Old and New Testament. Okay, so it doesn't matter which edition of the King James Bible you're reading, because God used the entire thing to get to this point. Even if you're reading from a 1611 edition, it's going to have different word count for sure. Same text, but not standardized. God used the King James Bible all the way through history. So no matter which one you're using something that God has actively worked through and is speaking through. So don't worry about which edition. I would just say that. I mean, if you have one that doesn't have chapter 8, but it just has the, I don't know if I have one right here on my hand, but yeah, this one, for example. This one has, it doesn't have chapter 10, it just has the big 10, right? I mean, even if the physical count is thrown off, it's still there by structure and by words when you add them together. So don't get thrown off by little details like that. At first I was going into this thinking, well, because Concord is like the very last, like Cambridge, the very final like gold standard, this is going to be like the ultimate one that we hold up as like, I don't think God wants that. Like I said, this first existed in a pure Cambridge edition text. So, and then eventually it settled into this perfect one with that 983 and 555 count. That 983 and 555 count doesn't exist in the pure Cambridge because it has that extra word in Exodus 23:23, which changes that 555 to 556. So, the 7 to the 7th power count existed, but once we got to this edition of the Bible, the final one, it perfected. By the way, that little and in Exodus 23:23, if you just look at it through the history of the King James Bible, it just kept flipping on and off. Like some printers would include it, some printers wouldn't. In 1611, it wasn't there. 1629 is when it first came up, and it was there for a while, and then it dropped off again, and then went back and it dropped off, and it kept flipping. Either one is accurate. It's not in the Hebrew, because there's a word for and in Hebrew, but it's italicized in the PCE, so it's not wrong. So, anyways, that's it, guys. This is every word of God. Every word of God is pure. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of God.